you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me. Stop chasing all the city lights. Breathe me in, go on and take your bite. Count on me to make you come alive. You know where to find me tonight. You know where to find me tonight. Find me tonight.
We lost our minds in the darkness of night. We live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. What's right? The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light. We are just shadows. It's supposed to be that we die. It doesn't matter if there is no light anymore, no light anymore. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light.
And welcome back to the CoR European Showdown. Once again, we are into the lower bracket now. So obviously the last 2 days we've had the upper bracket. 8 teams have now made it to the grand finals. And now we're going down to the bitter end. The last chance for some of these teams to try and make their way into the grand finals. So we've got 4 games today. We've got 4 games tomorrow. And joining me with all the action in those 4 games is going to be Zabu. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, really good, really good. Been really enjoying this event so far. I tuned into the Super Week yesterday and the day before to see which top 8 qualified. So it's good to see this second phase of this period of the game. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's going to be nice to see how these teams that didn't make it through from the upper bracket are able to adapt in this lobby. Obviously, with we had the 8 invited teams, didn't we? 7 of those invited teams made it through out of the first 8 places. So just kind of proving to us why they deserve to get those invites in the first place. But at the same time, you know, these teams have actually played with each other during the open qualifying stages, and they're going to be pretty familiar with how they play. So I think straight from the get-go, this could be a really, really exciting few games.
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to seeing how BT get on. I thought they were one of the teams that I thought would actually qualify for that upper bracket. They didn't actually, they thought fell a bit short of that. So I'm interested to see how they go on tonight in their first action this week.
Yeah, 100%. You know, BT definitely going to have a lot of eyes on them. GT as well, you know, being one of the teams that were sort of a pretty strong roster. 2 lots of qualifying, they've scraped through in the last place. So it'll be interesting to see if they are able to really step it up and get into that top 8. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. But the plane is about to go in the air. We're about to start game number 1. So let's head on over there and let's see what is going on.
A really nice flight path then for the first game, just straight over, down across the centre of the map, through Severny, down onto the military island. So a lot of teams going to be able to get their preferred jump you would expect on this flight path.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a nice flight path to start things off. Nothing too crazy or wacky. You know, the zone could pretty much go anywhere on the 4 segments. You know, obviously it has to touch that plane path, but yeah, pretty much the whole island going to be accessible. So yeah, we're going to be seeing kind of which teams do want to try and battle it out for those drop locations. Obviously, you know, with 8 teams already going through, that's 8 teams that have not got their drop locations here. So yeah, teams might want to adapt, try and take their drop spots for this round, but they've got to remember that going into the finals, should they make it, those drop spots might not be quite as available in there. So definitely something these teams are going to have to keep in the back of their minds.
Definitely. I think a couple of the teams, GT and GTS, both flying towards Farm and Milter here. So let's see if there's any early action. I think GT may fly further than GTS. Not quite sure yet, but 2 big teams in this lobby. I know GTS didn't quite make it through, did they? So M-Force dropped out, and I think they've just taken that spot.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, with M-Force unfortunately not being able to participate for the rest of the event, we invited GTS back in, who were the best performing 9th place team from the round of 32 bracket coming into this one. So yeah, you know, it's great for them to be able to have another chance, and definitely a team that, you know, you would have expected to probably have qualified in that round. You know, getting a little bit unlucky, a bit unfortunate at times, and yeah, just missed out. I think it's by 1 or 2 points, if that. So yeah, great to see them back in, and hopefully they can start off nice and strong here. GT, you know, they've actually kind of backed away from this, given that position up to GTS. I don't know whether they wanted to go towards Milter anyway. I think they do generally loot Milter, so actually taking the vehicles might have been a better play for them anyway. But yeah, we can see the zone has popped, and it has gone towards the northern side. So very nice spot for, you know, the likes of TDT, F2S as well. QP going to be pretty happy with this one. But yeah, a lot of teams down in the south who already had a late drop anyway, going to have quite a big rotation to come through on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at the 2 teams on the miniature island. Obviously, Aguita and OMG have got a long rotate ahead of them, so they're probably going to think about moving pretty sharpish. Also, you've got to remember for OMG, they've got to be careful. If AG set up on that western bridge, or if GTS maybe set on that eastern bridge, that could cause potential issues for them in the first phase of the game.
Yeah, 100%. You know, bridge camp's definitely something that some teams love, some teams hate. You know, it's one of those things that kind of can cause a lot of problems to the game. It breaks it up a little bit. It doesn't allow teams to get into a bit of a flow. But, you know, it's a viable strategy. If you can take a team out that's going to be near you having to cross that bridge in these games, you know, you're going to turn them to other bridges. You're not going to have to worry about them potentially coming across while you're still looting. And also, you might pick up a few points doing so. So, yeah, I don't mind teams deciding to go for a bridge camp. But, yeah, on the other hand, you know, if you do try and, you know, camp those bridges, you delay your rotation in, and actually that can kind of hinder you sometimes. So it depends on what sort of teams are trying to do it, but yeah, you know, it's definitely a viable strat, so something that Aguita and OMG are going to have to think about. But with this zone, I don't think we'll see too many people hanging around for long, because yeah, there is quite a long way to go to get into zone. So yeah, we're seeing NE already rotating. Only 4 minutes in, and they're already in the vehicles trying to see if they can find themselves a spot. NE obviously making it into the upper bracket, not being able to qualify through the first round, but obviously coming through into the lower brackets. They've got a second chance. But we saw some really big things from them in the open qualifying games, didn't we?
Yeah, and I really like how they're being so proactive in this first phase as well. They're really trying to see if they can find something fairly central, try and get some of the hard cover that is available. I think it looks like they're probably going to head up towards that warehouse. But if you see Team 4 as well are going to be attempting to get there at the same time. So Kyle is going to actually be under a bit of early pressure here. May get some shots down onto NE as they drive past. Gets one tag, couple of good tags. Great shots down onto Jen. I think it's down to 1 HP. Can't quite find that killer bullet though.
Yeah, exactly. Literally 5 HP left on Pures, almost getting the knock there. Great spray coming out from CodeRed, from QP up on that hillside. And yeah, a little bit lucky that NE did decide not to crash there, because obviously only one player was there to try and defend from QP. But yeah, NE did move away and almost lost a player. So yeah, a little bit of a early warning sign there for NE that they can't just drive around freely. You know, there are some very strong players in this lobby that can do a lot of damage.
I think you raise a really good point there about the whole that Kyle was lucky that they didn't decide to pull up on it with him being the only player there. I think teams have got to be really aware of that, especially going into the later stages of this competition. Teams aren't afraid if they do think that it is just one player there, that they are going to commit to it. They are going to full send and try and wipe that player out to get that spot for themselves.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's definitely something that's, you know, potentially a weakness in a lot of console teams' games, is the fact that they constantly hear shots and go, right, there's someone there, and back off. But actually, you know, just getting that knowledge, knowing how many players are there and whether you feel like you can outnumber them and take them, get those trades and take a better position. You know, if that's something that teams start to develop into their game, I think that we could definitely see a big shift in teams just kind of having so much map control. Those 2-2 splits will start getting punished, and yeah, we could definitely see some changing in the kind of standings, because a lot of teams that kind of go for those 2-2 splits and get the map control are generally the teams that kind of end up towards the top of the tables.
Yeah, 100%. Looks like BHG have got knocked down onto Poor on the rotate. They look like they are holding a little bit of a bridge camp themselves, and it is Marshall gets caught out unfortunately early in this game. First player down and out.
Oh no, CE. Not quite sure what happened there, but it looks like Peak and Jad's both going to get knocked to the vehicle, and the rest of CE going to be rotating right in the middle of QP here. So not going to be in a position to be able to get any sort of reses. And yeah, that's a real shame, because Jad's and Peak, absolutely no one near them at all.
You have to wonder how that's even happened there. Like, I'm looking at the car here, and I don't know if something's not rendered in for them maybe, but you think they have the map knowledge to know the sort of terrain and the buildings, if you like, that are there. So really strange one there to see. Yeah,
and then CE just completely just leaving themselves in the middle, and that's them completely gone. The car was, you know, flipping all over the place, couldn't get away from it, and unfortunately CE going to be crashing out game number 1. And after their really strong performances throughout the competition, that's a real shame to see. And it looks like Paul might potentially be quickly following as well as Apollo, last remaining member now. Paul trying to just get away from this one. Shots coming out from BT here. Okay, going to confirm that one on towards Tracker, but yeah, Donny not quite able to get the confirmation on towards Apollo, but he's going to have to carry on as a solo now for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and he's got to be careful, because MW are close by, driving just about where he is. And I did see that Desert as well has just decided to opt to go to the western bridge here. He's seen one of the poor boys get destroyed out of that car, and he's thought, no, I'm having none of that, and I'm going to take the safer route. Yeah,
definitely a good strategy there from Desert. You know, making sure that they get in. And yeah, avoid taking too much fire early on, especially as we see what happened to the car of CE. When it takes too many rounds, you do get a little bit caught out sometimes. But yeah, Milky Way, I mean, another team that have been very hit and miss, I feel, over the last sort of few events. I feel like they sort of took a break for a little while. They were, you know, very, very strong team. Took a bit of a break and now seem to have come back with a slightly different roster. But again, still a very strong team. Berkey, she's, you know, a very, very strong player in her own right. And yeah, they're definitely a strong team.
Yeah, and I feel like they're one of the teams as well. Like, you see them when you play ranked, you see them playing quite a lot, and they do take the ranked games very seriously. I know some teams don't think that's maybe the best strategy in terms of getting better at comp, but these guys take it seriously, and whenever you fight them in ranked, they're always 3-4 man strong, and they're taking the trades on the fights, which I think can personally only benefit them in these comp sort of games, really.
Yeah, 100%. You know, ranked, yeah, okay, it's not necessarily the same quite sort of structure as an esports game. You know, generally people will play them very differently, which is why they're so unpredictable. But yeah, you can definitely use them to practice, you know, those crashes, you know, those close quarter fights, you know, working rotations out in towards the late game. Yeah, not quite exactly the same as esports. And of course, obviously, the fact that it is in TPP doesn't really help when it comes to those close quarter fights, depending on what team you're facing. But yeah, there's definitely, you know, ways to think about how you can combat sort of certain teams' team strategies, and yeah, it seems to be working for Mway. You know, really, really strong roster, and yeah, not quite managed to make it into the upper bracket, but getting into the lower bracket, I think they've got a really good chance of coming top 8 here.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't. I just find it really interesting here. If you look at the actual where the teams are positioned, there's actually no one opting on this south side. All the teams really do think this is going to shift to that northern side, just maybe a little bit souther than Tavernier. And if you look, it's actually gone even further north.
Yeah, it has. Dig going to be very happy about this one as it goes over towards GT's position as well. GTS going to be rotating around past here. Up towards GT, kind of sandwich themselves almost in between the two teams, and Blank's actually decided to get out here, so you know, needs to be a little bit careful because there are some GT members lurking around. Kaneki just at the top of this hill. Jack slightly further down towards the south. I don't think he's quite got sightlines on this yet, but might be able to start taking some shots in a second. But Kaneki just trying to hold round on towards this ridge side. Just listening for the audio cues, waiting to see if he can see GTS push up. And there we go. He's going to push up out himself, trying to see if he can maybe spot Blank, who he does. He does manage to take him down. Should be able to get the confirmation as well. There we go. That knock comes through. So many knocks coming through. The kill feed absolutely lighting up at the moment. But Kaneki's still trying to hold off here as GTS work out whether they want to push in or out. And it looks like Philip wants to just get out of there.
Yeah, and just as you say that, TDT as well. They're trying to find somewhere, but they're getting absolutely shot at by everyone here. Manu and co in the car. They are going to survive for now, but the teammates Jubbly and Yeezy, they're going to take the coastline just to try and get away from some of the shots. But they're just going to meet different teams further down the line with Dig set up in this compound. They're going to get some shots down onto the cars. One of the cars is smoking. Jubbly's down to 50 HP already. So I'm not sure how much further they're going to go. And there it is. Gregory does take Jubbly out of that car. And did confirm that kill real quick.
Yeah, exactly. You know, really nice headshot there on towards the moving vehicle from Gagui, but it is going to get stolen away from Wizzy. Unfortunately, Skyline EU catching some of Aguita here as they're trying to push their way in. Tritoon going to be found and confirmed. QP up on high as well, trying to see if they can get that, but it's actually going to be Jen that are going to steal that one away. So Skyline EU, they've already lost a player already and don't manage to pick up that kill either. It's not ideal for them. And I feel like this is one of those zones where there's just really not a lot to play. And with the hard shift coming through, you can just see how spread these teams are. You've got a cluster of teams up on towards the west. You've got a cluster of teams on the east. And pretty much TDT, they've managed to find themselves a good spot. And it's a really good spot because there's absolutely no one surrounding them at all.
Yeah, especially with the high ground on these hills. People don't like to play in them central areas. There isn't much hard cover. As you can see, TDT pretty much have some of the only hard cover around there. So that's why you're seeing these east and west sides of the map really, really busy. As GTS do get a knock back in return on GT. Not quite sure if they're going to be able to confirm it, though. Looks like Jamie is going to be there for the res.
Yeah, I think they should be okay there. Should be able to get the res, but GTS do have to be a little bit careful because they have got OMG now situated on the hillside above them. Thamer looks like he wants to try and see if he can catch some of these players. Pretty sure he spotted Eddie here. Yeah, definitely spotted Eddie here. So just keeping eye down that way. Can't quite spot the other GTS members. They're just behind the ridgeline. But yeah, GT a little bit lucky there because there's no way GTS can push in and capitalise on that knock. Obviously, GTS already losing a player. They're going to be at a numbers disadvantage anyway. But OMG, they're just keeping eyes up there, trying to keep the threat alive. And yeah, GTS just having to back off from this one, trying to get a little bit of breathing space, but they are pretty much sandwiched between both of these teams here. As you can see, they're just being completely cornered.
Yeah, as we now see BHE as well. Now trying to do a similar rotation to where we saw TDT actually lose one of the players out of the vehicle. I'm interested to see where they actually try and play here. And there we go. One is found. Cliff found by F2S Koyomi. Larry out of the car as well. Cliff does get confirmed by Dig, and it really is just not the rotation they were looking for, as Natter is just about going to get away with his life. His car has spun out. He's going to have to bail out the car. Looks like he just like needs a bit of cover for now. But like I said, there's such a chokehold here, and there's just nowhere to play for these teams trying to rotate from the west.
Yeah, there really isn't. But here we go. Skyline EU now give their team to get punished. Natter's trying to just get away from that car, trying to get himself safe, but Dig are just peppering so many shots down that location. Surely he's not going to be able to survive for too much longer. QP being spotted as well. And Skyline as well. All these teams trying to rotate in. Natter sort of just sort of bunkering down, trying to see if he can survive as long as possible. Larry still bleeding out on the kill side. Zen King got himself into a, you know, I'll say a decent position. He's got himself in the zone, that's for sure. And I don't think GTS going to be in a position to be able to push across there. So BHE have got a player in zone, but yeah, really not the start they would want. I know they definitely struggled in the upper bracket. I think they were coming in here with a little bit more confidence maybe, but yeah, that might have just knocked it slightly. So they need to try and rebuild coming into the other 3 games today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've got to think about what these players are thinking right now. We're going into phase 3, nearly 4, and there's still 47 players alive here. Like, there's so many players. There's no real estate really available. And just seeing cars migrate from the west to try and find something. It's now MW's turn. They're really trying to find something as Shane does get found in the kill feed and confirmed by Dig as well.
Yeah, exactly. Shane going to go down as well. Still only 1 team gone, and that's going to be CE from early on. But a lot of damaged teams and broken teams lurking around here. Velton's going to get knocked inside the compound. Eddie's going to go down as well. So Zen King somehow holding on for a little bit down on his position. He's going to be able to confirm Eddie as well. And that's a little bit of a misplay there from GTS. You can see just how far Eddie pulled out of that compound. Doing it solo as well, not going to be the best thing. Very trying to see if he can maybe catch GT or wrap him right round on towards his position. He's going to find 2 with that nade. Huge nade coming through. And there we go. GTS surely going to want to try and capitalise on this one, but not really in a position to do so. I don't think we'll be seeing too much from BHE Zen King, but it does look like he wants to wrap around to see if he can maybe find something in this. Here we go. GT trying to get aggressive on it. Jack pipes up here. Isn't able to get any damage. Philip needs to hit the reload. Can't quite do it. Kaneki now coming in for the support. Viri trying to see if he can find someone. Does manage to get Jack, but Zen King in the back lines. Is going to have to find one. There's now 3 members of GT knocked. Can Zen King capitalise on this? I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to just back off. And GT absolutely getting away with murder there because there's only 1 left up. I think they're going to be able to get back to a full 4.
I cannot quite believe that. He's actually going to pick up all 4 reses like you, or 3 reses like you say, and Zen King is going to stay away with his life for now. But I mean, if there is a god up there, GT are definitely thanking him right now because, quite frankly, they should not be able to be a 4-man, but they are as we go into phase 4 of this game.
Yeah, exactly. Pato with a nice knock on towards Milky Way, and Major Girth gets one as well. Going to confirm that one too. So MW really in bits now. Berkey does get rezzed back up, but just 2 members left. They're not in the best of positions. They've got to try and push in, but the problem is they've got Apollo still, the solo member for Port, up towards their north. They've got to worry about QP as well. NE lurking around here as well, and TDT. So many teams surrounding this area. And yeah, Guita and Dig going to be battling out as well as they try and just finish off this fight in the compound before they're both going to have to rotate out of here. Pepe Yuji trying to push in towards the building. Does manage to spot one. Gets a nice tags in the back there. But doesn't manage to find another knock. Lizard does find one though. Gazoo goes down. And now Baltic trying to push out. He's going to find Pepe Yuji. But does get knocked there. Actually, it's going to be BT getting involved as well. Oh no, sorry. That's on TDT. That's my mistake. But Guita and Dig. It's just going to be a 1v2 situation right now. As they're just getting peppered from inside the zone as well. Guita do finish that one up though.
Really well played there from Aguita. I know they did lose a couple, but they've really done well to wipe Dig and get further into this lobby. They are in the blue though, and it isn't going to be very kind to them right now. They are going to have to try and find a way into the circle very, very soon. But as you can see, where they're going to be going in the circle, Jen and BHE are already here, and they're actually going to take a fight with each other here as Napa just walks on to Nebo. Down to a 1 HP, or 15 HP. Nebo just about alive. Nade from Zen King isn't quite good. Nebo does get the med as well. Looks like Mez here is going to try and get a flank. Going to try and get an angle onto Nata, and there we go. Nebo does find Nata just down to Zen King here against Nebo and Mez.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really good play there from BHE, but unfortunately not quite executed as well as they want to. And there we go. Mez is going to be able to confirm Zen King. That's going to be BHE going out. But yeah, I really like the pincer movement coming there. Finally, the 2 members do manage to regroup after being split for so long. But yeah, can't quite capitalise on that knock they got on towards Jen. And yeah, Nebo, really smart play there coming out. Getting that opening knock really did save them there. So yeah, well played there from Genesis. You know, did struggle in the upper bracket, but not looking too badly now. They did lose a couple of members, so just 2 members left up. But they've got 3 kills on the board. They're almost into placement points as well. And they've got themselves quite a lot of space in this zone as well. There's absolutely no one near them. QP, though, haven't got a lot of space as they're taking the fight now on towards BT. So we head on over there.
Yeah, it looks like they've just been wiped NE, and QP now got to take the fight with BT. QP done well there. They were kind of sandwiched in between two teams, but they've dealt with their back, and then now got the blue on their back. So they've got to try and find a way past BT if they can. White is down and out. It's a 3v2 situation.
Yeah, certainly is. Skyline and you going to get confirmed as well, so that's going to be them going out. Hacker is spotted. But you just got Tri-K here, just trying to hold down Donny with 4 kills to his name. 6 kills on the side of BT. It's a great play from them. And there we go. Nice shots coming out from Tri-K. Does manage to get 1. Might find 2. He does find 2. Can he get 3? He doesn't even spot Major Girth there, just on the outskirts. But does manage to get the 2 confirmations there. And now can turn his attention on towards Major Girth. Unfortunately, Donny does get bled out. But Tri-K might be able to get all of them. No! Those shots not quite connecting. Major Girth does manage to hold on. I don't know how those shots didn't hit. But yeah, Major Girth being able to come away with the victory in that fight. 7 kills for QP.
Yeah, I really thought BT actually had them. They had a really nice little pincer, like you said a minute ago, with Donny and Trike. But like you said, just didn't quite connect them shots onto Major Girth as he would have liked, and did pay for it with his life, as GT then finding OMG in the kill feed. Jamie Kid getting the kill and confirming it as well. They're down to a 3-man now, OMG.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly are. GT, much better game from them compared to some of the other games they've had in this competition so far. Yes, they've only got 3 kills on the board at the moment, but staying 4 alive. I think they might be the only team that's still got 4 members, as GT, Aguita, Poor, QP, and OMG all pretty much down to nothing. There we go. Poor does get confirmed there by Nebo, so another kill going the way of Genesis. They've got themselves some nice points on the board. 4 kills. So not doing too badly, and they've cleared the whole of their side, so haven't got too much to worry about. But yeah, for GT, got really nice numbers advantage here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to maybe be taking the fight very shortly to OMG, as they look onto Walsh. He's looking to lead the charge here for his team. The IGL as well. Shots coming down. Not quite going to connect as well onto Jack from Warrior. The GT then going to get the smokes out as well. Going to be interesting to see who comes out on top if this fight does materialise. I think it will. We're on the edge of zone. It's a huge nade from Warrior. Does take down Jack, and he levels the playing field. 3 versus 3 here.
Yeah, and the confirmation coming through as well with the blue zone confirming that one. But Keneki's going to come up on the side. Does manage to get the knock. Actually, no, it's Nebo in the back lines. Going to be able to get the headshot on towards El Diablo and take him down. And that's a big, big loss there for OMG, as already being down to 3. They sort of were trying to get the numbers back against GT. Got the first opening knock, but instantly they're back on the back foot again. But with the Grozer in hand, can they do anything? No, Jamie K going to be able to find Loran. That's going to be a knock going the way of GT. Now, yes, they did lose one in this fight, but they're regrouping back together. I think Jamie K, though, needs to be careful, because, almost goes down to the blue zone there. He's going to be able to get away, realises the potential mistake that was about to come through, and yeah, gets himself in. Now it's just Warrior to try and survive this. Walshy trying to push up, though, but I don't know if that was a misread. I think maybe he thought that Warrior bled out, but no, that was Loran going down to the zone, and Warrior's actually still completely alive. Mess, though, gets a nice couple of tags on towards him, so he has got to be a little bit careful here.
You're right. I think they actually think Warrior's dead here. They're actually fully retreating off this position, which I don't think they would do if they knew he was still alive, because obviously it is a kill and he could come back to haunt them later in the game. But GT have got to think about the zone. They're not in zone. It is phase 6. You cannot last in phase 6 blue. So they're thinking about the zone. They've got a nice entry into zone on this eastern side as well. But like I said, I think they've realised now, they've heard the car and they actually realised, oh, he's actually not dead.
Yeah, I think they were kind of looking that way. I think maybe the smokes from Warrior gave it away a little bit. But yeah, I think they backed off initially because they did think all of them were dead or went down to zone. So yeah, maybe just a little bit, maybe just a little bit of a difficulty there in just reading the kill feed. But yeah, GT do manage to keep 3 up. They do manage to get away, and it looks nice and clean.
We've got a nice little spot down on this southern side of the circle. Little bowl to play. They can see a lot of the high ground above them. Looks like they're actually walking in the direction of GT, so they've got to be careful. They are outnumbered if they take this fight. And yeah, Marcos is definitely going to see Walshy here. Lining up the red dot takes really good patience here from Marcos. Deciding not to take the shots just yet. He's waiting to see if he can get any more information for his team. And I really like that from Aguita.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. Major Girth just been lining up Warrior for so long, but almost Misses that one up. Does just manage to catch him with the last bullet, and that is going to be Warrior going down. But Aguita now taking the fight on towards GT. That's a nice opening knot there for Marcos. But needs to be a little bit careful because he's taking some fire. Kaneki completely isolated here. And there we go. The confirmation coming through from Lizard. Nice spray there with the 3XM4. Now, needs to try and see if he can possibly do something here. JBK trying to retreat. Trying to get out of this situation, but doesn't quite manage to do so. Just gets over the ridge, but Marcos can still see him. And GT, it's falling apart a little bit. Walshy, the last remaining member, and all of these teams completely battered. It's been a bit of a shame to see from GT as they do get caught out. And as we said, not many kills on the board already, so it's not going to be a massive high kill game unless they can maybe come away with the win. Currently,
yeah, I mean, it's a shame for GT, but massive credit to AG. They knew GT were there. They didn't take the shots initially because they wanted to make sure that, one, they could get more info, two, that they would actually get the knock when they took the shots. So really well played from them. They were outnumbered, but they're actually now numbers up, and it's just Walshy left for GT. If he can try and crawl and snake into something for the boys.
I mean, we saw it in the open qualifiers. Walshy being able to come down from a solo from like the top 5 and being able to come away with the win. After, I think it was BT and TSS were battling it out between each other. He came in, third party, and cleaned it up. So we've seen it from Walshy. It's definitely possible, but whether we'll see it again, it's one of those, wonder plays coming through, and anyone wants to be able to get one. Can you get 2 in an event? I don't know if that's pushing it a little bit.
Not quite sure, but you can see Major Girth as well on this northern side. Then he's on his stomach as well. He's playing the rat, and they're quite close together, to be fair, these two. But QP already got 8 kills on the board. He would quite happily take a 9th and an extra placement point as well. But we'll just see. You can actually see Walshy. I think you can see him right in front of him there crawling. He still hasn't seen him though. Major Girth, he's still looking. Oh, there we go.
I'm not going to see him now, and there we go. Major Girth is going to be able to confirm that one away. Going for a proper rat crawl there. But yeah, it does manage to get the kill. And as you said, 2-point kill that one because you get the extra placement point to go alongside it as well. So great play there from QP, especially as they, lost quite a few players early on. Have been able to do very well on this one. And Aguita, they're trying to use this as a chance to push up. And if you look at the zone, there's literally no one in there apart from Lizard. And Major Girth doing so much damage here. Managed to get the knock on towards Marcos. And maybe a bit of a misplay here from Aguita as they try and push. Maybe just holding zone would have been better. Might have been able to get some more points from it. But there we go. The confirmation coming from QP. And that's going to be the 10th kill coming out for QP.
Major Girth is going absolutely huge here for QP. It's really, really well played. Patient as well. But it looks like Gen are going to try and find him. But Girth gets great shots down onto Mez as well. Never going to play the high side then. Going to try and get an angle. Does see him and does find Major Girth. So we're now into a 2v1.
Yeah, shame there from Girth, but a huge play as a solo. He got quite a few points for his team there, being able to get through, and 6 kills as well. But yeah, we are going down to our final 2 teams. It's going to be Lizard versus 2 of Gen. Gen, I don't think have actually picked up a win so far in this event. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but this could be the first win they managed to pick up. I'm pretty sure Aguita managed to pick up an early win in the open qualifiers. But yeah, I haven't seen too much from the likes of Gen, so this could be big, but I don't think Nebo aware of where Lizard is. It looks like he's kind of looking further towards the left, and
he's going to get caught out here for sure.
Caught out, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. You think Lizard's not looking around the right side of the rock though? If he looks on that left side, he's going to see Nebo in the open for free, and it's a free kill. Still hasn't seen him.
No, certainly hasn't. And Gen, absolutely no idea where Lizard is. They still think he's over on that side. Obviously, hearing the shots coming out from Marcos, getting the knock on towards him has kind of thrown them off a little bit. Lizard repositioning, got himself dead center zone, and it is going to go up on towards the dot. So Gen are going to have to move in towards him, but the problem is he needs to try and find one, isolate one of the members and take them out if he possibly can. But I don't think Gen are going to allow that for free, because they are sticking together. They are making sure they can get that trade. And,
that's how you play these end circles, right? You're in a 2v1 situation. You've got the numbers advantage. You've just got to be on each other's hip. Get that trade and get that win for your boys. Because like I said, that's an extra 5 points, right? You get the 4 points for the placement and then the extra kill. Mess didn't actually see Nebo. Lizard there. He's going to get punished for it, maybe, Nebo.
Yeah, and there we go. Nebo getting knocked, and Mez not being quite on him. Slightly splitting a little bit there is going to cause him to go down. The stun going to come out to try and see if he can get net Mez. And he does manage to do it. Lizard, huge play coming out at the end there. 4-kill win for Aguita is not very many. Not as many as I thought it was anyway. I thought they were definitely getting more points than that. But yeah, huge performance coming out there from Aguita.
Yeah, definitely. Really impressive from them. I really liked it. And honestly, I feel like they won the game there when they saw GT and didn't take those shots initially. They waited, they got some more information, they bided their time, got the knock when they needed to, and then played it really well from there till the end of the game.
Yeah, 100%. You know, really nice wraps there from Lizard just to try and throw Gen off. They had no idea where that player was. And yeah, huge play coming out there from Lizard. I'm sure the Spanish players in the chat are going to be going wild at that one. But we're going to take a very short break here. We're going to be back with another Erangel, the last Erangel of the day, in just a few moments. So we'll see you in a little bit.
We lost our minds in the darkness of night. We live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. What's right. The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. Surrounded by the night, we live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light. We are just shadows. It's supposed to be that we die. It doesn't matter if there is no light anymore, no light anymore. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die, and we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light.
everyone, welcome back then. We're about to get going with game number 2 of the CoR European Showdown lower bracket division of the Super Week. That's a long title. But yeah, not long to go. But what a game there from Aguita coming out with the win. Or should I say, what a game there, Lizard, for being able to clutch up that 2v1 at the end.
See, I like what you did there with the lizard and the whole snake sort of thing. I like that. It was really good. No, really good from them, to be honest. Like I said, at the end of the last game, I thought they won that game. Definitely when they didn't choose to shoot straight away at GT. They were a two-man, numbers at a disadvantage, but they held it on, waited for their time to come, and they did take the shots when they mattered.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's sometimes patience is key in these sort of situations, and they were able to really capitalize on that and yeah, come away with the win. You know, obviously then allowed Genesis to kind of push around, take out GT. You had Aguita trying to take GT down from the south as well, and it worked out really well for them. Aguita, not many kills, but they've got 14 points to go along for game number 1, and that's going to be a nice big chunk of points to go towards the total that they need. But game number 2, still a long way to go in this event, so let's get over there and let's have a look to see what is going on with the plane.
Yeah, so on the plane, a little bit further to the west end, but still coming from this north side down to the south, going to end up just near Primor. So any teams that do like an eastern drop, they are going to struggle. So there may be some alternative drops coming out here, or maybe even some contested if we're lucky.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it'd be great to see a couple of early fights. You know, it's just enjoyable for us to watch, isn't it? Really, not great for the teams necessarily, but yeah, to watch from a viewer, it's always good to see. But yeah, we are. Yeah, as you said, you know, decent playing path. Yes, okay, the sort of the eastern side of the zone, not going to be overly accessible. Millie, even a little bit of a stretch. I think Aguita should be okay. They should be able to reach their side, as they do like to sort of go towards the western side of Millie base. But yeah, you know, OMG were in Millie base. Looks like they want to go over that direction again. But I think the actual stretch to Millie base might be a little bit too much, maybe. They might just make it. But yeah, that is going to be a very late drop for them if they do choose to go all that way. And if the zone pops towards the north like it did last time, they could really start struggling.
Definitely. It actually looks like Aguita actually are opting to stay on the north side of the bridge. They're actually going to stay on Ferry Pier. They've seen OMG probably flying with them and thought better of it. They're going to get looted quicker here. Might even have a potential gatekeep if it does come to the main island. So a better play, I think, from Aguita. And as you can see, the circle has popped. And yeah, OMG do have to make their way across that bridge, you would think.
Yeah, exactly. That could definitely be a problem for OMG later on. And Aguita, you know, smart play just to get themselves down on the ground and start looting up on the northern side. You know, if it's a Millie base, they know they're one of the only teams that are over there anyway. And OMG are going to have to loot up. So they've always got the chance of getting vehicles and getting across there early. But one team that is going to struggle a little bit here potentially is QP, because they've dropped in towards Quarry alongside GT. I don't think this is either team's preferred location here. Maybe all they could really reach with the plane. But QP are the team that have gone right in towards the bowl here. But it looks like TS14 trying to push up here to maybe see if he can get the nice opening knock on towards Jack. Does manage to spot him looting up in that shack. He's going to start waiting for him to run out. He's going to fire that UMP. Doesn't manage to tag. Oh, does manage to get one tag on towards him. Jack going to have to just try and back off from here. But yeah, he's very disconnected from the rest of his team. With the rest of GT going to be in the compound just towards the east of Quarry. I'm actually only seeing 3 men. Oh, Walshy, very disconnected over there.
Really far on the west side. I'm not quite sure. I think he went out there for a car, you know, but instead got very disconnected from his team. Jack's just about going to get away from this and disengage from QP. But like you said, they're going to have a really split team. It's going to be interesting to see how they actually do manage to get back together, if they can even get back together.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's all going to be down to what they can possibly get out of this. And if they can sort of get their players together. We saw BHE being able to do it in the last game. Almost paid off for them when they managed to regroup there as the duo. But yeah, not being able to capitalise too much on that. So hopefully they can stick as a 4 this time, and it will be a lot better for them. Same with CE as well. You know, obviously you didn't get the chance to see them too much. I don't think they even had the chance to fire a bullet in that game, with 2 of them getting knocked before they even got into the zone. But hopefully they get that opportunity in the next one. Jack has been spotted though. It looks like QP going to continue to range shots that way. No tags landing, but they want this kill. They want the player out of the lobby.
Yeah, and I really do like the strategy coming out from QP. I mean, a lot of the people, even spectators who play PUBG, you know, if you're playing comp and you get contested, you want to make sure that that team doesn't want to come back. You want to make it really hard for them to get anything out of the game, to deter them from doing it again in future games, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's kind of what you want. You want to ensure that you get your drop location, you threaten other people off of it. Some teams are very stubborn and will not move at all. But yeah, there are definitely teams that you can kind of sway to go elsewhere. Because, yeah, if you're battling it out early game every single time, then it's only going to be, you know, detrimental to both of you unless one team is coming out on top all the time here. But yeah, TS14 trying to lead the charge here. 3 members of QP already in this compound. Alongside TS14, Jack just trying to loot as he's carrying on. And I don't know whether that's the right play. I think maybe if he'd just kept running, not worried about looting up here, I think he might have been able to get away a little bit easier. But Jack, aware that there is a full team on him now.
Yeah, he's in big trouble now. It's going to be TS14. He's definitely going to go down first with the barrel. He's been the one who's leading this charge from the offset. And he's going to try and find him. He's downstairs. Jack is trying to stay alive, trying to bide a bit of time, I think, but it's only a matter of time before QP find him down in there, you would think.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they seem very convinced that he's down there, and I think actually Jack's probably picked the most obvious hiding place. It's like play hide and seek with your family members, isn't it? And they know exactly where you hide every time you go to the same place. You know, that's just such an obvious place to hide. And there we go. Jack does get found before he can even sort of really retaliate from that one. He's going to go down, and the rest of GT were trying to come over and protect him, but QP doing that nice and quickly are able to confirm that kill.
Yeah, really, really well played there from QP. And you have to say F2S here as well. They've got a bit of a split going on. They've got a 2-1-1, but the guys on the compound who are holding it on their own, they've got to be careful that the likes of GT or QP or any other team in this circle rotating don't seem to crash there, because they are quite high priority areas, and if they get caught with a full 4-man crash, it could be detrimental to their end game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you don't want to get caught out, especially in a position like that. I think that maybe just slightly far enough towards the edge that they're not going to get overly crashed. I think, you know, there's not going to be many teams that are going to rotate that way. So I think maybe F2S is going to be able to get away with this. But yeah, GT are very close and actually look like they want to try and crash Komi. And Walshy going to lead the way in towards that. And Komi already being able to get out of this position should be absolutely fine here.
Yeah, and it looks like now some of the teams that were a bit further away are rotated. And I'm actually looking up in the very northwest of the zone here. And GTS actually look like they're in a boat here. Interesting play.
Yeah, very interesting play. You know, coming down from the top by Zaki all the way down. You know, it's going to be not a bad rotate, but the problem is they're only going to be able to get on towards the edge of the zone. There's not really any accessible routes in terms of water towards the centre. And they're not going to have vehicles when they do make landfall. So, yeah, not necessarily the best play in this sort of zone, but definitely have the possibility of maybe picking up a vehicle maybe around the likes of South George. But it's like Trike from BT continuing to do some damage here. Donnie going to confirm that one, but BT already getting an opening knock on towards Gen. Had a really successful game in the last game. Not the start they would be wanting here. They are up to a full 4. They were only 3 in the last game, but now they're going to be back to a 3 straight away, only 7 minutes in.
Yeah, and they've got to be careful as well, because poor Marshall isn't too far away from the chopsticks as well, and if they get caught out again, or actually maybe Marshall could get caught out, because if they spot that it's only just him in that compound, then you never know what could happen. They could send it, but they are dead center. The circle could shift multiple directions now, so I think they'll be quite happy in that bowl. But that's a huge nade there from Marshall. He's just thrown it over. It's bounced off the staircase and landed right into Bliz's mouth.
Yeah, the problem with Gen is the fact that they've just lost one very recently. So Paul going to be fully aware. It was a time when the kill feed was very quiet. They will know that there's only 3 left up on that team. The thing is, they can't really afford to lose the position they're in. They're in such a good spot, pretty central zone. They've got a compound. They don't want to take Gen's position off of them. So if they was to try and push in there, there's a good chance they'd actually lose their position. So realizing maybe not the best strat just yet. But obviously, you know, just a warning shot there towards Gen that, yeah, there is a team lurking here and they are ready to take the fight here.
Yeah, definitely. I think you make a really key point there as well, Paul, knowing that Gen will be a 3-man. And I think a lot of teams will be looking for those sort of indicators in the kill feed in the game to try and count the teams. I know some of the top teams, especially some of them top 8 who qualified yesterday, they definitely track that kill feed really, really well, and it can be a key difference between some of the top and middle bracket teams, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely a key skill to be able to develop as a team. And yeah, we saw it. We obviously got to listen to some comms from some teams. They are very, very clued into that kill feed. Any shots they hear, any knocks where they can pinpoint positions where they know where teams are. They pick up all of that information, and that's partly down to the IGL being very smart and knowing when and what not to kind of take and kind of playing the position out. But yeah, some of these teams have got players on there that are just so in tune that they can kind of just focus on the kill feed and just allow their IGL to do what they want to do best. So yeah, definitely a skill that these teams have picked up, and I'm sure a lot of the teams in this lobby are going to be equally as skilled as the top 8 that qualified as well.
Definitely. And it looks like GTS have made landfall and going to have a nice, easy rotate into a compound at least. So they weren't met by any teams on their pull-up, which is quite fortunate for them. Like I said, I think a lot of the teams maybe try and centre up, don't they? So it does benefit them, I guess, that they have come in from the coast. So that's probably why.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely something that's going to benefit them from being able to get that position. Zone has pretty much donutted. It's gone, directly towards the centre. And yeah, most of these teams are going to be absolutely fine with this one. Not too many having to move. GTS are going to have to try and make a way in a little bit closer. Same with OMG as well and TDT. But other than that, everyone pretty happy with this one. So I don't think we'll see too much action going on just yet. But there's definitely the chance as the next zone shifts and there's so many teams in such a small space, we could definitely start seeing a little bit more action coming through. In fact, actually, TDT, they're sending it straight in here.
Yeah, and they've got to be careful here. There are literally teams all around them in all the compounds, and they're taking some heavy damage to the vehicle at least. And there we go, Yeezy has been found out of the car from Hacker, as Manu, Jubbly and Doc really just try and find anything they can at the moment. No tags coming through onto Jubbly. He's just about staying alive. Manu's had taken a few tags. He's actually going to put up right near where Aguita are, and he's going to get ripped out by Lizard. And this rotate from TDT is just going from bad to worse, as Jubbly doesn't really know where he's going, I don't think.
No, I think they went a little bit too far and a bit further than they needed to. I think there was definitely a chance they could scout out, find a good position, trying to get into a good spot. Like, they've got into a decent position now, but the problem is they're fully surrounded by Aguita and Pepe Yuji. Nice opening knock there on towards Jubbly, and it's just going to be Doc now to try and hold off on this one. A massive over-rotation from TDT, and I think needed to get a little bit more information there before they went for that sort of crazy rotate, because, yeah, they went a little bit too close to the compounds, and that just allowed everyone to just rain shots on them, and unfortunately they lost, well, now they've lost all 4. That's going to be everyone from TDT crashing out.
Yeah, real shame for them, but a real good start for Aguita in game number 2 after winning game number 1. It's exactly what they needed to kickstart game number 2. Still 4 strong as well, I believe. Yep, so they're going to be really happy with that one. And they're actually pretty good on circle as well.
Yeah, exactly. Not a bad position for them to be in here. Dead centre almost. It's a decent compound to play out of. It's not necessarily my favourite. I think you can definitely get teams that sort of stack up on you literally from the position that agree to push the compound from. I think that does, it's a relatively easy position to be able to push, but for now they're in a good position. They've got themselves some hard cover that they can kind of utilise, and will be in a really good position, depending on where this next zone goes, to decide on what they want to do going forwards.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think this zone is going to be really key because it could go one of 2 ways. It looks like Eddie does get a knock onto GT Kaneki, so they're actually taking the shots down onto the compound, and Kaneki actually does get flushed. Maybe a little bit poor play from Kaneki. Maybe should have been inside one of the buildings. Instead gets caught out, and obviously if GTS know that GT lost one early, then they'll know they're only a 2-man in this compound.
Yeah, exactly.
They've actually left.
Yeah, they all left, and I think that was how they got caught out there. Jamie K is going to be able to regroup with Walshy. I think they were looking for a better location in the zone, but unfortunately that's cost them another member. And now being only 2 members left up, it's not really... Yeah, they've got a better compound, but I'd definitely take the player over the compound any day. And yeah, I'm pretty sure GT may be regretting the fact that they went for that rotation at that point, and might have actually been able to just hold fast and take the fight with GTS, who are pushing into their location.
Definitely, and I think it all comes as well from that as that new phase does shift. Sorry, but it does actually come from the initial drop. Like, you've got Walshy miles away from where his team has actually dropped, and I feel like since then it's just been bad to worse for GT in this game. But the circle has shifted anyway up onto this northern side. CE are going to be very happy with this spot. I know a lot of teams do like playing up here. I feel like you do get a lot of view over the circle and can shoot a lot of teams that will be rotating around these areas in the fields.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you're right. What you said about GT there, you know, if you start off already split and kind of scrapping at the very beginning, it takes a long time for you to kind of settle and get yourself, you know, into that mindset of, right, okay, we're playing as a 4, we're going to stick as a 4, that sort of, you know, that sort of positional play. And yeah, unfortunately, it has cost them, and they are down 2 members early on, which wasn't really necessary. You know, they could have all stacked towards the quarry area, or just leave it. But instead, they kind of didn't really have a plan, kind of split all up, and yeah, that's to their downfall, really.
As we now start to see some of these teams rotating in, then you've got BT opting for the north rotate. Nice and smart. I think they'll probably find one of the 2 compounds to the north circle and be able to scout from there. But yeah, a few teams on the south side. It's going to get quite busy, I think, because there isn't actually much to play on the south side of this circle.
No, there's not really. It's one of those horrible locations. You've got the position where F2S are and where MW are as well. But other than that, there's really not a lot to play. And they're such strong locations as well to hold. Pretty much anything down in the south is kind of, you know, not really playable. OMG's found themselves a bowl with Warrior, but the rest of the team have got to try and make their way in here. And unfortunately, Shane has found a knock on towards Loran. So maybe going to be Skyline EU's chance to try and push across. Walshy opening the shots down towards Skyline EU, who decided to actually use that as a chance to rotate away and get themselves into a good position. And now Walshy going to see if he can maybe find one of OMG for himself to maybe use that as a way to get in themselves. But yeah, GT not in the zone, down to 2 members. It's really not looking good for them this game.
No, it's not. It looks like it's kicking off with QP and Dig down in the swamp area here on the western side of the zone. Baltic has been found already by QP. They're looking to try and confirm with nades, but nothing quite connecting just yet.
No, they've got to be careful though, because you've got GTS who are pushed up into this as well. So you've got 3 teams now lingering around this location. I don't think either team really wants to take a 3-team fight, especially at this stage in the game, and in one of these locations as well that's really difficult to play, but doesn't matter because Pato and TS14 both finding a nade towards GTS. That will give the cue that there is another team lurking around, and also really started to cause them some problems. Veery caught himself into that shack there as well. Needs to try and see if he can survive. Going to try and get himself down low, but it's Skyline EU that are getting involved as well. A couple of tags coming up from Shane here. Veery taken down so low, does manage to hit the deck, but Arminius, he's got sightlines onto this from the 6 houses, and that should be a confirmation. A Major Girth going to confirm that one away, steal it from F2S. But yeah, QP, they've done so well to hold off this so far. Not all done yet. There's still the fight with Dig to be had, but yeah, to keep 4 up already and pick up a few kills in this one, it's really well played there from QP so far.
Definitely, and I think they'll be very happy with the kill on Taviri as well, as a lot of these QP boys are ex-GTS members, as they do find the 4th and final GTS member, so a little bit of...
BT are crashing. Hang on, sorry to cut you off, but
no,
Milky Way getting absolutely obliterated here by BT. Berkey trying to get away as well, but the shots coming out from Donny takes her so low. SLR spray not being able to quite connect. Somehow Berkey surviving. Literally 1 shot left and needs to try and get with the rest of the team. Went for quite a big split, and this is what we said, you know, BT, they sussed out there were only 2 players in there, thought no, we want that location, crashed it, come away with the kill and the location as well. And now Milky Way having to regroup down towards the south, losing a potentially really strong central location.
Yeah, and just looking at this CE crash here on Any, I'm not quite sure what the play was and what the crash is, why they've crashed this area, but they have, and they've lost 2 players for it. Wheelix still remaining 4C as well as Peak out in the field, but Any are going to get the res onto Jay, and it's going to be a 4v2 situation.
Yeah, exactly. Neither team really benefiting from this one at all. Wheelix and Peak a little bit disconnected on towards this one. Goober bleeding out still as well, and the shots coming out from Pure's on towards Peak is going to get the knock, and it's just going to be down to Wheelix now. Any doing really well to be able to keep 4 strong here. And they've got all the time in the world to take this fight because there's no one really in any sort of sightlines of this. Poor look like they might be struggling a little bit now as well, as it's just Tracker left up for them. No kills on the board and not into placement points either. Not the game they would be wanting coming off the back of game number 1. Wasn't the best game number 1 either, and this is not looking like a great number 2 either. Grigui trying to lead the charge, trying to see if he can find the member. Did get finished off there by QP as well, elsewhere on the map, and there we go. Just like that. Poor going to go down. 10 kills coming out. I'm not quite sure who that's for, but I think that's for QP there.
Yeah, I've just watched them down on this western side. They've just dismantled Dig one by one. They're playing separate houses at times, and they've just been caught out one by one. Like I said, QP have stacked them 2-man, 3-man onto the solo players and just dismantled them and got themselves up for 10.
Yeah, really, really good play there from QP. Really playing dominant and getting high kills already coming into this one. Jen trying to take the fight on towards Aguita. Have got a couple of knocks bleeding out in the blue, so should be able to get the confirmation on towards those. But now F2S actually pushing in towards Milky Way's position here. So, you know, we said it was quite a strong position to hold. Komi trying to wrap around here. Does manage to spot one. Does get the tags on towards Husky. Nice knock coming through there. And it's just going to be Berkey left up in the smokes. Last remaining member does find one, though. Can they find two? No, Grigui going to be able to finish that one off.
I don't think F2S actually know Walshy's here. He's actually taken one of them down, got the flush, but I think they somehow got that bit mixed up with MW, so I don't actually know if they think he's there, but he's just throwing that frag, and maybe if he didn't do that, he could have caught them off guard.
Yeah, the thing is, Walshy trying to pick up some extra points, which is, you know, fair enough, but he's also got to realise he's got to make his way into zone, and to do that, he's got to go through F2S. So, yeah, just highlighting his position being there, he's definitely going to, you know, alert them and make them think. 24 players left up, but we've still got 9 teams alive, so not in placement points just yet, and this is not looking like a very high kill game for GT. 1 kill on Walshy, as you said, picking up one of the F2S members, but yeah, he's got a long way to go if he wants to try and get something else in this one. Aguita also down to just 1 solo as well. Pepe Yuji just proning down on the very edge of zone here, but now QP, they want to get involved in this. Look, you can see them rotating right the way around here as they try and see if they can find F2S and GT.
Definitely, I'm on board with Kyle here, and he's definitely seen all the knocks in the kill feed. He knows they're a broken team, and he's just seen Gregor probably on the bounce there.
I think
from the jump.
Spotted him as well.
And it's big tags coming down from Kyle. Doesn't actually stop shooting Anthology there. I think he thought he might have been knocked, but he wasn't, and he's just put down to Kyle. And there we go, QP getting good tags in return onto Gregory. Anthology both down to pretty much a one-shot. Nade coming in, huge nade from Sean, TS14. It's just Gregory for F2S.
Yeah, he's got a mountain to climb right now. If he wants to try and get too much more into this one, the whole of QP fully surrounding now. Sticking as a 3, making sure they can get those knocks. The Flames not quite being able to get it. Tri-K actually from across the zone going to be able to confirm that one. QP realising that straight away and they're going to get away. But I think, looks like Walshy, Solo Snake might be crawling into another Solo Snake once again. He got caught out by one before and he's got caught out by one again. Pepe Yuji finds Walshy. Walshy managing to just outlast F2S to get himself the placement point. But Pepe Yuji, absolute disgusting play from him. And he knows it.
Yeah, and I think I just saw it in the Discord before this game that AG were calling Walshy a bit of a snake in that last game, and obviously they've just seen him again snaking, so they're going to be laughing their heads off in the party chat, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. You know, just yeah, a little bit of a win there for Aguita for sure. TS14 though, they're, you know, QP are not letting up at all. They're going, you know what? Let's just get a massive game, boys. Let's qualify after the first 2. Even though we've got another 6 games to go, and that seems to be what they're doing. Nice kills coming out. TS14 on 6 kills already. Nice knock on towards Warrior, and I don't think the Red's actually going to be able to come through here. Diablo he's going for it now, but that's very delayed. It took a long time to do that, and now QP pretty much on top of OMG right now.
I'm not quite sure. He wasn't even medding in there, I don't think. I'm not quite sure why it took so long to go for the res.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird. Maybe just trying to see if the push was coming through, but shot coming through. Oh, Diablo needs a new headset because he had absolutely no idea where they were coming from. And there we go. Pato, Major Girth.
BHE walking over the top of this then. BHE just seeing the knocks. Zenking going to get good tags down onto Major Girth and finds Pato as well. Good two-piece there for Zen. Sean does trade, but Zenking finds all 3 members of QP and he goes huge for BHE.
Zenking been playing so well today, you know, as a solo, as part of the team. great to see. Nata, who was scouting out to try and get a location in. Unfortunately, Gen going to be able to catch them out, and BHE now aware they're going to have to try and push in towards another team here if they want to have a chance. But Gen having to just prone down here to make sure they don't get sighted from BT or NE. Pure's trying to see if he can find a better location in this zone, taking up that very broken Darcia, but there we go. Gen going to be raining the shots down towards him, and now he's caught himself on the hillside. But this could be real problems for Gen because BHE are now taking this time to push, and they've got someone else they need to worry about.
Yeah, and Bobby has knocked Zen King, but Pures can't really do much to aggress onto that just yet because he has got Gen just above him on the ridge. So it'll be interesting to see just how he manoeuvres this one. BHE have still got to find their way in as well after the revive.
Yeah, certainly do. The nade coming out from Pures does manage to do a little bit of damage. The second nade coming in as well. Might find Nebo. It does. Nebo going to go down, and Clift using this as a chance to try and push up here. Playing this little ridge that you can see. I don't think he quite spotted Bliv on the cart. Just looking out for that other member, but we'll probably spot Nebo crawling here. And that might just give him the info where that other player is. The nade coming back in return. Clift, yeah, there we go. Going to steal that one away. As any uses a chance to try and push up onto this location. Bolby with the nade in hand. Does spot Zen King on that rock. That nade could be good. No, bounces just a little bit too short. But that second nade, it almost at Zen King's feet. But I think he's going to be able to get away from that one. He really does need to come up clutch. Zen King does spot Bliv, so he's going to be able to confirm that one. That's another placement point, another kill point on the board. But Pures, he pushes right up. He's now playing the ridge. Really nice play here from NE to wrap around here to try and capitalise on this fight. Clift, Larry, the last two remaining members now for BHE to see what they can possibly do as Zen King gets confirmed.
Yeah, it's a really nice play. You just spotted it out. That's a nice play from NE, and it really is because where they were, they only really had the field to play. And if they played that too early, they really would have just got dismantled from the two teams on this little hill that they've just had to fight on. So really good play from them. They've cleared that out a little bit, so it means they can move into circle a little bit more. But yeah, really good IGL from whoever is IGL for NE.
Yeah, exactly. I really do like that play. You know, just making sure that they can kind of hold down a bit more of a location. They didn't have too much of a way in where they were. You can see Jay and Viper literally confined to this rock as BT clearly got sightlines towards that way. Keep looking that way to try and see if they can spot anyone. They're scouting out elsewhere, but yeah, they're fully aware of where NE are. And if all four members have been confined to that location, then we might not have seen such a big game from NE. But sending those two players out there definitely gave them a bit more space to work with. Although they've probably sacrificed these two members here because unless they're packed with smokes, which I don't see any on Viper, and maybe just the one on Jay. No, he's got a couple. He's got three, but yeah, trying to get to his car.
They've got 7 and 8 each, but I don't think they're going to be able to help them out too much.
No, I don't
they should
think
have
so.
spread the smokes before they made the play.
Jay's going to try and take the vehicle, but reversing first, I don't think was the play because this zone does a lot of damage. He's going to crash straight into the rock. He's going to go down. That's not the play he would have wanted to do. Viper now having to just try and get away from this one, ducking and diving. But BT have got to move as well at the same time. Donny pipes up, tries to see if he can find Viper. Doesn't quite manage to get the final tag. And Viper somehow surviving this one. But BT, they want to full send this. They're going to try and see if they can find Viper here and try K. Surely going to be able to push up. There we go. White does manage to get caught. He does manage to catch one. But there we go. The rest of NE. And the backlines find one. Get returned there by Larry. Now Bolby needs to see if he can maybe try and survive this for his team. I don't think he's going to be able to get the res up on towards Pures, though. And he's going to have to continue this one solo. You see Bolby almost getting spotted there by Larry. Not quite being able to get the kills. 8 kills, though, for BHE. Really good game from them coming out. All four were alive pretty much until the last late game. Unfortunately, I have lost a couple, but yeah, Cliff raining the shots down towards Donny. Does manage to catch him with that mini 14. And that was a big knock that was needed. White is going to be able to get the return, but now it's a 1v1v1 situation because White, I don't think, is going to be able to get over to get the res up on towards Donny. Larry now trying to hold off this position. Clift is resable, and I think actually if Larry goes to the run here, might be able to get there. And this could be huge. Getting that extra player in this stage of the game really could be the difference between getting the win and coming in third.
Yeah, definitely. This BHE is really reminding me of the BHE that did close out that round of 32 with a big win. They're looking like the cohesion is really starting to pay off now for these boys. I know they're playing the same team, the same 4 as well quite often now, and it's really paying dividends for them, as you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly is. And there we go. Cliff spots out White, who was running to try and get the res up on towards Donny. Doesn't manage to get the knock, but does just deter him off being able to get the res, which is allowing Larry to push right the way around here. White takes some more damage. Donny takes his tag as well, so he's going to be bleeding out even faster. And Larry wants to try and see if he can find this player. But actually, I think just holding this ridge for now, really good spot for Larry to be in. I think, though, BT, there's no way they're going to get this res.
I think Donny's actually, during that little spell, Donny's actually dropped smokes there for White and popped them out so he can get the res. Huge plays. But
yeah.
Larry coming in big.
There we go. Finally does pop up and does manage to get White trying to go back to that tree. But Donny now needs to try and see if he can maybe catch Larry. Does take him down very low. Larry cannot afford to get knocked in this location. This could be the winning ridge for him. But Donny actually going to wrap right the way around. Takes a lot of damage though. Needs to be careful. Does turn. Clift actually getting caught by Bolby. Larry gets caught by Donny. And BHE crash out in a position they did not want to be. Third. I think they might get the kill on White unless Donny can clutch this up nice and quickly. Looks like first bleed. And actually, Bolby potentially going to try and steal that one away. Doesn't manage to get the fatal knocks. And White can't really do too much now. Just going to have to stick to that tree. But Donny can see if he can maybe get a nice wrap using this ridge. Bolby trying to go for a wrap as well at the same time, though. But surely Donny, if he just pipes up now, he'll be able to catch him. There we go. No idea where the player is. And Donny confirming that one. 7-kill win for BT. And you called it before the game started. You wanted a big performance there from BT. And I think that's the start of good things to come.
Definitely really, really impressed there. Played the game as a 3-man as well. To come away with the win is massive. Obviously, we saw there at the end, they were nearly down and out. Donny was seconds away from bleeding out. He dropped his smokes. White popped it. They got the revive and it's ended up winning them the game. So really well played from them. But shout out to BHG and NE as well. They've done really well in that game.
Yeah, really, really well played from them. And yeah, it is a shame BHG couldn't quite clutch it up at the end. But, you know, it's top 8 you're looking for in this stage, right? So as long as you're getting consistent points, you're staying up near the top of the table, you know, I don't think there's too much to worry about. I think you're going to be pretty happy with how things go. And, yeah, hopefully you can still manage to stay up to get into top 8. But, you know, for now, we're going to take a very short break. We're going to be going over to the Sandy Dunes and Miramar. So we'll have a little breakdown of how that might play out when we come back. But we'll see you in a little bit. We're going to take some highlights and a little break. And we'll see you then.
The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon
Welcome back then, guys. 2 games down, 2 more to go this evening. Of course, we've still got another day, so plenty of games still to go. So if you're not, if these teams aren't performing as well as we expect them to by this stage, it's not too much at the end of the world. They've still got Miramar to come. So if you're a strong Miramar team, this is when you really need to come into it. But the thing is, I think, one of the most well-known, or the team that always seems very successful on Miramar, has had a really good Eren goal, and I think that's Aguita.
Yeah, I always see Aguita doing really well when it comes to the Miramars, especially BT as well, actually. We actually just won that last game. I find them, they normally do quite well on the Miramars. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's any teams that maybe haven't had the best of nights so far, to see if they can actually get some numbers on the board and put themselves in a good position to qualify tomorrow for the grand finals.
Yeah, 100%. It's all going to be down to kind of, the mentality of these teams. If they're not doing great now, are they going to be able to, regroup? Are they going to be able to come back and, really perform when it matters most, when you really have to get those big games? Teams don't like putting that pressure on themselves, so getting off to a nice, good start is always great, but, it's not the end of it. We saw, I think it was Dub Hub, were pretty much, I think they were bottom 2, bottom 3 after day 1, managing to come through and qualify. WC also not having the best of day 1s as well, coming through to qualify. And there were a couple of others as well that, really did show up on the final day. So it's definitely not out of reach for some of these teams. But yeah, you don't want to be going down there with such a deficit that you're relying on massive games. But with that said, we are going over to Miramar. The plane is in the air. So let's have a look to see where these teams are going to drop.
Yeah, so this time we're actually coming from the southern side then on Miramar instead of the 2 northern flight paths we did have on Erangel. But yeah, quite central-ish, a bit more to the east, I guess. So some of them teams, I guess, trying to go to Pozo, the Montes, Tuma, might be a bit of a stretch. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think most teams will be pretty happy with this plane. As you said, it is relatively central. You've still got the likes of, Picardo, San Martin, Power Grid, Hacienda, El Azhar, Cruz de Val, all those sort of places that, do usually get looted. Lost the Owners, of course. So many teams going to Lost the Owners. In fact, half the lobby going to Lost the Owners by the looks of things. You got Gen GT, OMG, CE. You got NE lurking around there as well. QP just down towards the south. I mean, surely we're going to see a fight in here very early on, right?
You'd think so. And Peak's got a gun. Looks like he's landed on top of the 5 stack, possibly to get a few shots away early. But not quite clicking on anything. But I can't imagine there'd be 4 teams land here and there'd not be any fights break out.
No, exactly. And in fact, Jen got sharing a building there with Laura and Bliv. Going to be down in the bottom floor. Laura landing on towards the roof. So, yeah, unless Bliv does decide to just get out of there, definitely going to meet up. Mess, though, not far away, but the thing is El Diablo just covering the building. So he's almost saying, you know what, boys, have a 1v1. I'll make sure no one comes in and interferes. And yeah, for Gen, probably not the situation they want to be in. You never want to be putting yourselves into a 1v1 situation. It does put that odds down to about 50-50 as opposed to sort of having that upper hand with the extra player. But yeah, they are going to have to just play this one out, and they're getting closer and closer to each other in this building.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time now. But like you said, you really don't want that 1v1. You really want to try and get the numbers advantage if and when you can. Especially in these comp lobbies. I know some people are quite happy to do it in the publics or even in the ranked. But in these comp lobbies, every player is good. Every player can just shoot. And like you said, you're putting yourself down to a 50-50 chance, really. Yeah,
exactly. Mess has been able to get across to this building, though. It looks like, the OMG boys, El Diablo, not been able to get sightlines on towards this side of the building. And now the fact that Mess has been able to join, Loran needs to think about what he wants to do. Does he want to try and take this fight with the 2 players of Gen? Or does he want to try and just get out of there? And it looks like he's actually looking for an escape route here. He's just going to jump himself out of the building. Takes a lot of damage doing so needs to be careful on the escape hit. But I don't think there's any windows on that side where there is on the 2nd, 3rd floor. But yeah, Gen already up to the top. So Loran going to be able to get away from that one. And now Bliv maybe loot a little bit more freely. But they are going to be thinking, is there still a player in that building? And that might throw them off a little bit as they continue to loot here.
Yeah, and you got to look at the zone as well. It has posted, and neither of these teams are in the zone. And all this does is really waste time. It stops you from looting. It stops you from getting the gear that you want to get. Yeah, like I said, it could prove detrimental later in the game. They might not have the loot that they need, or even the meds, just to survive the gunfights.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Take longer to loot. the problem is you then struggle in the later game. So it's kind of that balance, isn't it? Do you leave early, get less loot, but get yourself that better position? Or do you, hold off on loot, get a potentially worse position, but get better gear? And that's kind of always the age-old question, isn't it, for some of these teams and how they want to play. But, regardless, both of them have got their merits and disadvantages as well. So, as long as you're comfortable with the strat that you play on your team, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. OMG, though, they're definitely one of these teams that like to be aggressive, like to try and take those fights. So, I'm expecting them to maybe try and get early in here or just hold off a little bit and then take those edge fights. And it looks like they're perfectly happy hanging around here to try and take out Gen.
Yeah, I really like the look of what GT are doing here in the centre of the zone. And they're in the zone. They're one of the only teams actually in the zone. But what they're actually doing is getting a bit of a spread, getting some of the priority compounds in the zone and holding them down. So proactive from them. I like that. Obviously, we saw them in the last game. Really, but for lack of a better word, dodgy drop. But they're together this game, and hopefully they'll have a stronger game and keep 4 up.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope so. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. GT, though, they've decided to get themselves a decent position early on, and yeah, been struggling a little bit, haven't GT? But this time they are in a much better position here. They get themselves early. They stay together as a team, and that's definitely the problem that they were kind of facing previously. Thamer, interesting outfit going on from him. Gone for the Christmas look by the looks of things. I was just seeing the flashing lights on his arm as he was looting. And gone for
he's in the wrong season, isn't he? I think we're Halloween next.
Yeah, I mean he's got the Halloween mask on, so I may maybe let him off. But yeah, the Christmas jumper maybe a bit early for that one. But yeah, the zone, I don't want to jinx anything, but there is definitely a position I'm kind of hoping where this zone gravitates to. Let's not mention it too much because don't want to give it the cast a curse. But yeah, if we do get it sort of around this area, it could be an incredible game. But for now, these teams are definitely going to be hoping it doesn't go there. And we see them already starting to rotate in. BT going to get a nice early rotate, get themselves a relatively central position. I like this spot from them. It's one of these positions that you can't really push very easily. Really nice location to be able to just hold off and try and take some shots across the zone. You've got a lot of open field around you, and I think this really suits BT's playstyle. Just get themselves into a central position, try and just take out teams as they try and push them. And if you have to move out, they're more than happy to go and crash a team. We saw it in the last game. They took out M-Way. And I'm sure we'll see more plays from them if they need to do the same.
Yeah, they're one of them teams that really kind of have everything, don't they? They have the fragging capabilities, but I think they also have the IQ that some of the teams maybe struggle with a little bit, I guess, in terms of the rotations. They get in there really early, and like you said, if they feel like there's numbers advantage or they feel they need to crash something, they're more than happy to do so, and are good enough to do so as well. You see these teams that sometimes maybe try and attempt to crash, but maybe lose numbers on the pull up because they're maybe not pulling up in the smartest areas. So yeah, definitely something that I think is very good on the BT team.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you hit it right. It's all well and good crashing and being a team that's happy to crash, but you do have to execute it well. It is one of the hardest things to do in PUBG is to execute a crash properly. And it's definitely a skill that needs to be learned. Seeing Dig here just trying to chase down Milky Way. I think they have managed to get away though from this one and actually just gonna just back off from each other and go and get the car. But Milky Way potentially now running into CoR. As they start taking the shots towards Milky Way in the vehicles. But again, I think they're going to leave enough distance between them that it's not going to matter too much.
Yeah, a few shots coming out from either team, but I don't think much is going to connect from this sort of distance while in a moving vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should be fine. More teams rotating though, and BHE, I was about to say, not the best rotation from them. Straight in the middle of Aguita and Clift. Probably the star man of the last game. Well, him and Zen King anyway. He's going to get caught very early on, and the rest of BHE going to have to continue on without him now. TDT and GTS having a battle as well. That's happening just north of Los Leones. And we see Iceman bleeding out now. Blank does manage to get the med back off, but Viri has been confirmed and finished off. TDT, though, they are a full, strong team, and they are trying to crash straight in on this, yeah. That stun was great. but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. I think Yeezy and Doc got themselves very close, and there we go, 2 knocks straight back to back. It's just going to be Philip left up, and he's just going to try and get out of there, try and run out as quick as he possibly can. But TDT, they've got his number. They know exactly where he is, and they're pushing straight up here. But Philip gets the knock on towards Jubbly. Nice opening knock there for him, and I've gone completely the other side of the zone and just missed the final kill. But yeah, really well played there from TDT. Got aggressive when they needed to, and they keep 4 strong, and they managed to pick up 4 nice early kill points to go towards their total.
Really well executed there. We did just speak about crashing. I mean, it wasn't a crash in a compound, but it was definitely a crash on a team, and they had a really nice spread on the pull-up to get all the angles covered to make sure that they could wipe them pretty effortlessly.
Yeah, certainly did. But yeah, we have got some comms available from F2S, so while these teams are rotating in, they've got themselves a nice central location. So let's have a little listen in. Obviously, it's going to be in French, so we might not fully understand exactly what they're saying, but we'll listen in and see what they're talking about.
30 secondes.
On est gauche.
Savoir si c'est sur l'île ou pas.
Ouais,
Ouais.
bah ouais.
Il y en a qui pousse à droite, il y en a qui pousse à droite. Il se tape.
Ok.
Comment ça, il stop?
Il se tape sur là où je ping là.
Et de toute façon, on va voir.
Ok, ouais, je vois. Ah, je les vois
Ok.
pas.
Je vais
Bon,
Il y a du
putain,
monde
on est
pas
trop
ici.
bien.
Il y a du monde pas ici. Vous voyez ou pas?
Ouais, je vois, il y a absolument rien, gros.
Vas-y, go.
absolument rien.
Faites un tout droit, nous on a
Allez-y à pied, vous, allez-y à pied.
Ouais, t'inquiète. Aïe. Putain, alors je regardais, de toute façon, il y avait rien.
There we go. Not 100% sure exactly what they were saying, but clear comms anyway, scouting out, and as soon as that zone shifted, you heard them, the calls were coming through to regroup, to try and get themselves into more central location. Aguita maybe realizing that the team has left that location up towards the north and are going to try and pull in towards there themselves, but I think they're actually going to continue on. But yeah, really good decision making there from F2S, realizing that the zone is going to gravitate this way, and yeah, regrouping.
Just had TDT here, crash BT here. Really hard crash. I don't think they knew that what they were actually crashing into. They crashed it blind. BT got a bit of a split, but TDT have managed to get themselves into the building. 3 of them. Manu holding the off angle as well. Nearly puts Donny down. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we've seen blind plays coming up from TDT already today, and it hasn't worked in their favour, but it looks like this one's actually a better play. But Skyline EU, they've come in as well, so this could be absolute carnage going on in this compound. It looks like Skyline EU going to push straight into this one. They're clearly aware that there's a team here because the molly's been deployed from Tricate to try and just stop any pushes coming through. The smoke's coming in to try and block off all the entrance halls as well from Skyline EU as well, trying to get them in there. And yeah, it looks like Skylink wants to try and push in here, try and take some control here. White's got the high position, and Trike, he's in such a tricky position here because they've got absolutely no idea there's a player lurking around just this corner. Skylink's though going to try and see if he can maybe get a better location, but Manu actually finds Donny, so that's the off-angle player here for BT. I'll quickly go on to the other side of the map again, but there we go. Trike does get caught. Skylink's taken down to 1 HP, and White now needs to try and survive. Hacker spots him out though. And BT get dealt with very quickly. Obviously, winners of the last game, played very well, but unfortunately nothing in this one. And now TDT.
Really unfortunate there. Bit split across the compound, crashed from both sides as well. Didn't really stand much chance. Skylinks then does find the opener on to TDT. Jubbly falling for them. Manu's going to try and pick the early res here, while Doc and Yeezy try and put off the push from SKU, but they've got nades in hand. Shane trying to find, not quite going to connect. It looks like it's going to get back up to a 4v4 here.
Yeah, the nades trying to get through the window, but every single one missing, hitting the window ledges. And that's unfortunate, because if that nade had landed, potentially got the re-knock, would have been a much easier push. But now that TDT are back up to 4 strong, not going to be easy. And Skyline EU now need to decide what they want to do. Do they want to back off, or do they want to try and get aggressive onto this one? Obviously, they've just seen how easy it is to push in towards this warehouse and try and take this team out. So they don't want to necessarily just hold themselves down to that location. I think they'd much rather try and take the rest of the compound here if they possibly can.
Yeah, taking some really nice shots down from Beta on to TDT, getting some good tags, but just not finding that big blow. And it's actually Doc in return on Skylinks, but that's actually going to give TDT a chance to regroup. You think Doc's actually vaulted off, somehow managed to get away just about with his life. Oh, and he does get knocked as he climbs through the window. That's going to be a trade. Both still going to be 4v4. Nothing quite materialising for either team just yet.
No, it certainly isn't, but I think maybe Skyline itching. They really want to get aggressive on this, you can tell. Same with TDT, to be honest. Two very aggressive teams when it comes down to it, and both teams nearly, you know, not really being able to capitalise on it. The zone has popped. It has gone towards the coast, and that does mean that this position is going to be out. So they do want to try and finish this off nice and quickly. The nade from Shane, I don't think going to find anyone, no. He's just going to take the door off, though, if they do want to try and use that as a way to get in, but... yeah, unfortunately, TDT not getting found there. Yeezy taking the roof, though. Could this be a great position for him?
Some good tags coming through. And looks like Tracker has found BHE Nata in the kill feed. Quite away from his team as well, so probably will get the confirm on that. But who will stay with this fight for now? Because SKU trying to find something to happen, but nothing's really materialising, as just mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a bit of a stalemate fight now, isn't it? Neither team able to get any sort of momentum into this one. The knocks going back and forth all the time. It looks like QP actually find themselves directly in between OMG and it's a Guita as well, I think. Nice knock coming out there from Loran on towards Kyle Lad. He's going to be able to get the first one. Needs to try and find TS14 down low. Doesn't manage to quite spot him. Actually goes for the confirm. Does manage to get that, so he's able to back off. But yeah, Major Girth just lurking up above him. But the rest of OMG now here in support. And yeah, it's not looking great here for QP anymore.
Yeah, two early losses there in Kyle and Pato. Girth, they got a nice little angle there. A few shots coming down. Tags onto Diablo. Not quite going to get the knock. Just Sean then PS14 going to use the nade. It could be huge on the Miramar. There is actually two players down on the Mirado. Sorry, just bounces off. Doesn't quite get the knock, unfortunately, and they are going to get the meds off.
Yeah, exactly. Major Girth going to get locked from far as well. Pepe Yuji finding him, so I think QP kind of on the back foot a little bit. NE trying to push in here as well, and maybe trying to steal a kill away. Bolby does manage to get Major Girth away. But let's go back over here because F2S been able to get a nice knock on towards Walshy and the confirm as well. They were in such a high position as well in that one. As we see, QP do get confirmed there by OMG. But yeah, GT looked like they were so good where they were, but F2S just getting the sightlines on them from Impala, and unfortunately, Walshy going down. It's really not the situation they want to find themselves in.
Yeah, they won't be happy with that one. He won't be happy. No opportunity to snake for Walshy in this game.
No, exactly. Last man surviving for his team up until this point, but yeah, he's going to be the player to fall down first for them. Just looking at Marcos's position, it's a nice spot to be in. He's got himself up onto towards the high ground here, but needs to see if he can maybe get sightlines on towards GT. Can't quite find it yet, but might actually be able to spot Jack in the bell tower. I think Marcos doesn't want to overstep though, realizing he's not got any support, and if he gets knocked, he's pretty much done for. So yeah, not going to be too much going on there. Let's go up towards the north though, because it looks like Paul and BHE are battling it out here. Tracker was knocked, is going to get rezzed. Now BHE need to decide what they want to do here. Nice tags coming from Zen King. He's been playing out of his mind today. So much damage coming out from him, and lots of kills. There we go. Paul Marshall actually going to get caught. I think he was disconnected though for the rest of the team. He's up over by MW. Does manage to get the knock with the gas can though after his death. But yeah, that is going to be yeah. Paul deciding to just back off from this one. But yeah, really not been their day. 0 kills still on the board for them. As we see, TDT looks like they've crashed straight in towards CE after pushing off the Skyline fight, and CE going to be able to get all 4 kills. 6 kills now for CE. As they're trying to see if they can get these reses up.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get both members back on their feet. Really done well. They've got 2 knocks on the pull-up on TDT, and like we said earlier with the crashing, like if you don't execute that crash really perfectly, then you're going to get caught out, and they lost 2 on the pull-up, and from there it was always going to be an uphill task for TDT.
Yeah, 100%. Skyline U now having to try and find a way to crash in. As we watch them trying to see if their efforts are any better. And actually, because of the fact that there's no one else on this side, now that TDT are pushed in, they've got themselves a really nice ridge to play with and actually get themselves quite deep into zone without having to worry about anyone else. So I really like this play here from Skyline EU. Not the best play if the zone shifts away from them. Obviously, they are going to have to try and find somewhere else. But for now, great little location for them to play out of.
Yeah, and I think Skylynx has even just picked himself up an AWM as well, so he's going to be happy with that. Bit of 3 gear to go along with it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, always nice to pick up that 3 gear, and definitely much better to try and pick that up than you know, sticking with the 2 gear. I think the gear potentially going to be even better than the Orm, but actually Skylynx being able to find a nice knock already with the Orm. First bullet out of the chamber, finds the head and gets a nice early knock already. Nothing to capitalise on, but you know, still a good clip all the same.
Yes, definitely. See, Milky Way here, they've got a nice little position to come into zone as well. Still 4 strong on their half as well. They've got a nice little entry. Aguita are taking a few shots. Lizard on the high ground. That is the only thing with coming down on this western side, is if there is teams up on them rocks, they really have full visibility on literally anywhere you go, as they're finding here. And they're getting tagged pretty hard, but they're just about going to make it to the rock in one piece.
Yeah, they certainly do. NE, though, they've wrapped right the way around towards this south side, very close to OMG. But, yeah, not in the best locations, especially with that zone shift. It's gone straight towards the rocks and Impala. This is a really interesting location because I don't think it shifts away from here just yet. But that rock down towards the south where Marcos is, just above him, is completely unplayable. So, yeah, it's interesting to see that in the middle of the zone. Not many times you get the chance to see a zone like this. But, yeah, nice spray coming out from Bolby. Doesn't manage to connect, though. And actually return fire. Might be able to find the knock on towards him. Yeah, Loran going to be able to find the knock on towards Bolby. And I think should be confirmed as well. As yeah, Marcos going to steal that one away. So NE looked like they were in such a good position to be able to push over here.
Oh
it doesn't
God,
work. And Marcos just
beautiful
absolutely just dominating this team now. As he finds another member with that M24. And
You called it earlier, such an OP spot up here. You can see literally the whole circle from up here on this rock.
Yeah, exactly. He's in really, really good position. Yeah, there's a good chance it will push away from this position eventually, but he's able to just completely look all over the zone here. Going out towards the north, though, because it looks like Port now trying to take the fight up on towards, well, every team here by the looks of things. And there we go. They do get finished off as... Excuse me. As they do try and go for a bit of a split, try and take up BHE and Skyline at the same time. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked. Actually, Skyline looks like they want to try and get aggressive on towards BHE's position now.
And actually, Aguita here taking a knock and a flush onto Triton here. So although Marcos is in a great position up on that rock, he can't always provide help to the team, and they are going to lose one. So we'll see how they end up playing, if they're going to leave him up there, if they're going to try and regroup as a 3. But OMG still 4 strong on this south side. Got a lot to do though.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think Aguita, I like the play, leaving Marcos up here and playing as a 3, but the problem is they were a little bit too split as their 3, which meant they were just playing pretty much solo, and yeah, OMG sticking as a 4, pushed up, were able to come away with the win on that. I mean, when you leave a player disconnected like that, you do kind of risk the chance of being outnumbered in a team fight down low, but I think it's just such a strong position that it's worth sacrificing, you know, potentially your other 3 players if they run into a full 4 to have 1 player up there. However, for Aguita, it's not looking great for them as they did lose 1. I think they should be able to get away from this one and maybe get themselves a more central location, especially with the fact that Mway now taking fights or taking shots towards OMG. And that's just going to hold them back a little bit and allow Aguita to try and regroup a little bit closer together.
Yeah, this one Marcos come a little bit lower. The rock coming around to the side, help his team a little bit more. Pures did get found by Kaneki there in the other side of the circle. Lots of solos actually, or like split teams should I say, in and around Impala.
Yeah, exactly.
Jay and Jen.
Yeah, this is
Annie
going to
and
get
Jen.
absolutely chaotic over towards Impala because you're going to have all these teams having to fight for F2S's position pretty much. They've got a really nice spot in the city. I mean, you might be able to get a team that maybe slots in on the other side of the zone. Maybe GT will choose to push in towards there, but they are in the zone as it stands. But you're going to have CE, NE, you're going to have Skyline EU, BHE, Dig, all trying to push into the same spot, while these teams on the south side, or on the west side, sorry, are going to be fighting it out between themselves. Desert managed to get a really, really nice kill on towards Thamer. there, but sticking with this side because it is about to get chaotic. As you can see, so many names here and really not a lot of space to play.
I mean, yeah, F2S the only team with the foothold in zone down on this side. GT got a little bit of leeway, I guess, up on the church and in the brick building, but CE, NE and Gen all got to move as BHE do find Shane. Looks like they're actually taking the fight onto SKE.
Yeah, it does look like that way, and it looks like, you know, Skyline and you coming out worse for wear. Zen King does go down, though, to Beta, but the problem is Dig already in a better position in the zone, able to hold out Skyline here. Hacker bleeding out Skylinks, trying to see what he can possibly do. Beta still got to try and cross the road as well, and Marcos does manage to find one of OMG as well across the other side, but there we go, Larry finally getting finished off, and that's going to be BHE going out. Pepe usually getting involved as well with OMG, and just like that, they go down. So they have to try and push in on their side, and that's going to give Aguita so much room to then start focusing on this side, and potentially might be able to catch the odd member here as well, trying to play. Skyline, you somehow being able to get the Razapon towards Hacker, but Skylinks looks like he might go down shortly. Hacker trying to push in towards this location here. As he does manage to spot one of Dig. Does rain the shots through the window. Does find Wizzy. That's a nice start for this one. And the Molly to follow up. Might be able to find the other member. He's just going to confirm it away.
Good shots down from Gazoo, and he does find Hacker. And that is SKEU out in 7th. So really a good hold from Dig. But they've got it all to do again because F2S is straight onto them. And Gregory then finds Velton. Leaving Gazoo and Baltic. Anthology taking a few shots. Nothing quite connecting so far. F2S are actually split, taking another fight with CE, and they've wiped CE with the help of GT then. So GT going to try and move on to F2S as well. It's all happening here in Impala, Harry.
It certainly is, and I think we should go over towards F2S again to hear their comms in action. So let's go over there.
Ils sont en dessous, ok.
J'y vais, Kimi, garde la ligne à droite, j'y vais avec eux.
Ok, il y en a au-dessus, il y en a au-dessus.
Dans le trou?
Au-dessus de toi? Ok.
Ok.
Ouais, il y en a au-dessus.
Les gars, Army ou Anto ou Kimi, un peu de 5 ou pas? Je sais plus rien.
Non, il y en a dans le bat
Non,
vert là.
ok, c'est pas grave. Ok. Je vais faire avec.
Il y en a ici,
Yep, ça roule. On n'a pas la zone.
Putain, c'est vraiment là-bas là. Enfin, plus les mecs du trou là. Putain. Il y a la AG au-dessus d'eux.
À gauche, on a encore un mec à récup normalement. Un ou deux.
Ouais.
Même.
Je vais regarder si je peux
Moi
pas
à
le
droite,
récupérer.
sur les mecs qui me campent.
De toute façon, on va être obligé de se battre avec les mecs de gauche. Hein.
Ouais, mais ouais. Après,
À
regarde.
droite, je sais pas ce qu'il y a à jouer à droite, mais.
Oh, je l'ai pris,
C'est où ça,
incroyable.
Kimi?
J'y vais.
J'y vais.
Vas-y.
Je suis parti. T'inquiète.
There we go then. Really nice comms coming out from F2S. You know, they sounded frantic, but calm still. You know, they weren't getting, you know, flustered. There were so many teams around them. And, yeah, Marcos just doing so much damage to the M249. And finding Komi there. But, yeah, they are going to be able to get the res, and F2S in a really nice position right now to try and get in. But they have got to try and keep moving because they're not quite in just yet. And Aguita got such a good position here with the high ground in this zone.
Yeah, and they've got to be careful here as well. They've got GT just on the south side as well, F2S. So they've got to be careful when they do make that cross to the rocks eventually, which they have to do for the zone. So they are in a tough position. They have got 6 kills on the board. They've been fighting 2 teams at once at times in this circle. So I do not doubt that they have everything it takes to get into the final phases in this game.
Yeah, 100%. You can just see Milky Way holding this rock face as Aguita Lizard's pushed himself right up to try and see if he can maybe spot some of these players. But yeah, the util coming back against him. He's going to have to try and pull away from this one. So I don't know whether Desert quite got sightlines on that. It doesn't look like it. And Komi does get finished off there by Pepe Yuji from the rock face. So yeah, Guita just got so much high ground in this zone. Absolutely crazy. Marcos as well, because he had the bolty as well. I think he's probably quite happy about that because he's still got quite a lot of ammo left to utilise. Because there wouldn't have been a chance for him to grab much loot from that position as he now starts to make his way down off this rock face to take the fight on towards these teams. As you said, got to be careful with GT because they're trying to wrap in here, and Marcos might be able to get right on top of them here.
Yeah, F2S they're trying to make that cross, and they've got their smokes out to try and get to the rock face. But look, GT are looking, but Marcos is actually right above GT here, and he could actually get all 3 in one clip quite easily. It's a lovely little underarm volley. And it could do all the damage. It could actually have all 3 of them on fire there. It looked like it was right on top of them. It's just too far away. And Jamie does find a knock onto Pepe Uji. So close with that molly there. Could have had him on
No,
fire.
literally, they're dancing around it right now. Marcos needs to try and get the high ground on top of him, but they can't quite find it yet. Kaneki, though, is going to get spotted there. Marcos raining the shots out. That's the first opening knock there. Jack trying to follow up there with the Vector, but doesn't manage to do it. Marcos finds 2. That's a huge play here, and just 1 remaining, and there we go. Lizard finds Jack. And that's going to be GT going out. Aguita playing so well so far in this game. F2S, though, fighting against Mway, so surely this has got to be Aguita's game. They're just waiting for this fight to break out as Nox going either side. Lizard wants to try and get aggressive on this, and you can see him itching to try and look over the side of this rock here. Needs to be a little careful. There we go. Does spot Benzo. Managed to take that one out. Should be able to get the confirm as well. Doesn't quite manage to do so, but don't think they're going to be going for that res there, knowing Lizard's position right now. He's going to go for the sawn-off shots, and he does manage to get it with the sawn-off. Love to see it. Berkey can't quite get the angle. Marcos managed to get another one as well. It's just going to be a 3v2 situation right now. Surely Aguita.
Got to be Aguita's game, you
got
have
to
to
be.
say.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked so good in here with that position that they've managed to hold. Marcos, though, oversteps, gets caught there by Berkey. And now Lizard, not in a position to be able to quite get the sightlines on. Needs to try and come off this rock. I think maybe just taking it a little bit too slow right now. Can't quite find the player. There we go. Does spot Desert. Should be able to get the kill here. Does just spot him. Can't quite get the angle, though. Marcos gets confirmed. Trying to get the point, and there we go. 15 kill win coming out from Aguita. They just absolutely went ham there towards the end of the game.
Yeah, brilliant plays. I love the rock play from Marcos. He was up there from about phase 3, I do believe. Maybe even earlier, and he's just dominated that circle. He got a bit gifted at times where the zone actually finished, but 8 kills on the board for Marcos and 15 for Aguita in total. That's going to be a huge help into qualifying for next week's grand finals.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we can actually have a look at the scores as they stood before that game. I'm pretty sure Aguita were quite near the top already. But obviously, we can just get confirmation on that. And actually, QP are going to be at the top. But yeah, Aguita already in second anyway. So obviously, coming away with that win is going to be massive. Well, it's going to be a massive help. But that's probably almost guaranteed them the qualifying, to be honest. You know, that's a 25-point game on 26 points. I think they can almost say they're safely through. Obviously, don't want to jinx anything yet. But yeah, 50 points is going to be looking very, very strong going into tomorrow. I think the cutoff for group or the upper bracket was just 40 points. So Aguita probably breathe a good sigh of relief here as they've done what they need to do. But so many teams down towards the bottom. Catalyst, great to see a better game from them. They were a lot more organised and yeah, much more successful in that one. But GTS, not really been seeing too much from them. Same with TDT. They're just a bit frantic. So a few of these teams definitely going to have to try and come out and make some improvements. But of course, we're going to take a very short break. We're going to come back with the final game of the day. And of course, with an updated leaderboard, including the last game. So we'll see you in just a bit for the final game.
We lost our minds in the darkness of night. We live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. What's right. The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. Shadows in 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon. We are
And there we go then, back again. One game left to go. It's going to be a big one for sure if the other games are anything to go by. And yeah, what a play there from Aguita.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. Like we highlighted Marcos, I think, at the end of that game, but he was just so good on that rock. He could see the whole zone, really helped his team out when he needed, and the little pop peaks on GT to get that little three-piece was really nice as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, Marcus's position, as we said, you know, it's worth sticking him up there on that position, and it won them the game, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, final game about to go underway. The plane is up in the air, so let's head on over there for the final time over to the sandy dunes of Miramar.
Yeah, so this time we're coming over Campo Militar, then from the east side of the map over Picado, or Minas Generales, just past Picado, over Los Higos at the bottom south side of the map. Again, a really nice flight path, I guess, for the teams. You can kind of jump pretty much where you want to, give or take a few areas, but should be a good one.
Yeah, Miramar is one of these very difficult maps where every flight path, there's always going to be locations that are going to be miles away that are generally main locations for a lot of teams. Whereas I feel like Erangel, most of the time you kind of have alternate drops, but there's also, when it comes to Miramar, yes, you can have alternate drops, but a lot of the time you might not be able to reach both of those. You know, it's so big, and there's so many big cities on the very edge of the zones that I think each game does really, really change things up depending on the flight path. So yeah, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, you can already see Los Iones are much emptier than it was last time. OMG still deciding to go there. Same with CE. We have lost a couple of teams deciding they don't want to get involved in that one anymore. Gen being one of them. You know, didn't really work out too well for them, did it, in the last game? And I can't remember what other team also landed there. I know GT were lurking around. I think they went slightly further towards the north. I'm sure there was another couple of teams as well, but it does look like Los Iones is going to be much more free this time around.
Yeah, it's actually been gifted with the zone a little bit more this time as well. So some of the teams maybe wish they did actually drop there or thereabouts. A lot of teams up on the north, BHE, they're going to have a big rotate here. Going to be interesting to see how they play this one out. But I did just spot that there are two teams actually in Minas, BT and Gen. So Gen opted to come away from Leoness to try and get away from a contestant off the rip, but they actually found one here as well. As Nebo does take a couple of shots, gets White actually down to a oneers, but can't quite get the final blow.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, isn't it, where you just do the damage, can't quite get the knock, but doesn't really leave you at too much of an advantage because, yeah, getting that player would have changed things massively. You know it's a three-man team. You know which team it is as well coming in here with a member short already. You know you've got another knock, and then obviously you can isolate the two members that are distance, but leaving that one player left up there in White, he can really cause some problems here for Gen and just completely stop the push. And him staying up, probably saving BT's life right now.
Yeah, it's a really hard fight in Minas. I know a lot of teams drop here in ranked when we play, and it's hard to have a fight, especially in FPP. These unpushable buildings really are unpushable. That's why they have that name. So it'll be interesting to see how Gen really try and find a push if they do onto BT or wherever they opt to not take the fight.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it really does depend on what's going to happen there. We'll have to wait and see whether that does sort of break out into anything. I don't think it looks like it is too much, but it does look like Gen kind of surrounding BT a little bit now. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the kill feed to see if anything happens there. Elsewhere on the map, not too much going on. We've got any who are going to have a decent way route into zone. I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of go down towards the south side and come up along that coastline to get into zone. Poor as well. Not really had many good games from Poor so far. Sort of been struggling a little bit, and yeah, coming into game number 3, we're only on 3 points. I think they picked up a couple of points in the last game, but really not enough to be able to put them in contention for the top 8. So do need to be a little bit careful, but I suppose the one saving grace here for some of these teams is QP, Aguita, and maybe even GT you can throw in there, although not having the best game in the last game, been really raking up a lot of the points. So it does kind of mean that that threshold might be slightly lower. So if you haven't had such successful games so far, there's a chance that you've got more of a chance of being able to get enough points to qualify coming tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to feel for the teams like Poor as well, who are playing as a 3-man. Obviously, so late in the event, they've done well to get into the obviously the open qualifiers around 64, the 32, qualifying for the slower bracket. It's just a shame that they haven't got a full 4-man contingent in these games, but there is always tomorrow. Hopefully they will be back to 4 and will be able to push their way up that leaderboard.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's definitely the situation they'll be hoping to get into. We have got the updated leaderboard, so I'm going to stick it up over the top of the game so we can, at least keep an eye on what is going on here as Gen look like they want to try and push in, but not quite doing so yet. But as you can see, Aguita 51 points up at the top. That's a huge margin. I'm not quite sure where TSS were coming into the final game of day number 1 for the upper bracket, but they were really dominating as well. But yeah, look down towards the bottom of the table. GTS and Poor really struggling for points, 3 and 2 respectively. And yeah, some of these other teams as well. CE finally got a few points on the board, did push themselves up a few places, but not the position they'd want to be in. FSS, much more successful game for them. Same with GT as well. We see them sort of going to the top 5. So, they're consistently picking up points, but there's still a long way to go for sure in towards the rest of these games.
Yeah, for sure. And Gen really do look like they want to get active in this fight with BT. I know Nebo is looking to find something, but lovely tag there with a Winnie from Donny. 98 HP done to Bliv. It must have been in the head, to be honest, I think, to do that much damage. And Trike is actually going to come out and actually peek this side, I think. Going to catch him off guard. Finds a knock, and then Donny gets a knock onto Nebo elsewhere. So that's 2 instantly down and out for Gen. And you've got to think they might even back off this fight now.
Yeah, that was...
And Ripon left alive.
I feel like there's a big misplay there from Gen. They were trying to get aggressive, but the problem is, yeah, they surrounded PT, but they left open areas where they could kind of isolate the fights. BT, really nice little couple of tags there and a couple of knocks on towards the Gen members, but yeah, really were not set up very well for that fight. And I feel like the fact that they were trying to surround, they were trying to bully BT a little bit in that situation, really came back to bite them. Elsewhere, TDT and CE look like they're battling it out. That's dead, or almost dead center of the zone here. So this is for a really nice position in this one. Peak does manage to get the return back on towards Manu, but it's a 1-for-1 trade right now. Peak now having to try and hold down this building. He's got the stun in hand though, and this could be a really good stun if he does manage to get it out the window. One stun goes down. Second stun to follow, but he's going to get tagged right up here. Does manage to wipe the player. Does come out, but Yeezy on the off angle does manage to get the knock there on towards him. Wheelix now caught out a little bit. He's going to go down to Doc. And all of a sudden, just like that, CE, after we sort of commended their last game, going to really struggle. But either way, either of these teams, you know, regardless of what happens, OMG are coming in for the third party straight away.
Yeah, and I think Jads actually might get away with this, and OMG might actually take the attention away from him. Depends if Timer sees him here. Yeah, you just seen him there. He's going to get a few tags down. Jads not going to get away from this one, but TDT going to aggress as well. There we go, Jads is found by Doc there. So TDT going to still be 4 strong, I believe. Ooh, good tag there from Diablo to find Doc as well.
Yeah, really nice tags there, and Loran does manage to get Yeezy down as well. So TDT now getting battered a little bit, and I think maybe Thamen might be able to stay alive here. You know, after, you know, not hitting the shots that he would have liked to have hit in that game, or in that engagement with Jads. The rest of his team really coming up clutch, getting those 2 knocks on towards TDT is going to allow the rest of the team to come over here. Loran and Warrior both up full HP. El Diablo just holding on the back lines, and this is really smart setup here from OMG. Not fully committing, but also making sure that they've got that cover. They've got that cover suppressing fire as well. So TDT can't aggress onto this, and OMG can kind of dictate this fight a little bit.
Yeah, you really nailed it on the head there. With Diablo staying back as the anchor, they really can't push this fence line at all without getting tagged up. So it's a really good play from them. They managed to get the res on Timer as well, so they're still 4 strong. So they'll be looking to maybe clean this fight up. I would have thought pretty sharpish. Yeah,
exactly. Loran just trying to get a couple of tags towards Manu, but realizing, you know, not the best situation. He's going to pull back slightly, but now that he's kind of given TDT a little bit of breathing space, he's going to aggress back in again. And now maybe going a little bit isolated here. And the rest of OMG not in a position to really capitalize on this. And Loran needs to be really careful here. Does manage to get behind the bollard. The rest of OMG actually backing off from this and maybe just leaving Loran to his own devices. It was going so well for OMG. I feel like maybe a bit of a team confusion coming through now. But yeah, they are going to be able to back off. But yeah, it did feel like Loran was kind of left a little bit on his own there for a moment.
Yeah, they're definitely, at least they're going to stay 4 strong. They're going to disengage from this one for now and let TDT live. I mean, they're both in really good parts of the zone. They don't need to take the fight right now. But it looks like there's a few teams rotating in the blue. You've got Aguita and you've also got BHE rotating in the blue right now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're going for a bit of a rotate as well. You've also got BHE, you know, very split in this rotate as well from them. Compare that literally to the other side of the map where you've got Aguita sticking as a 4 coming in late. You've got BHE fully split. And yeah, it's going to give them, you know, plenty of locations to try and get into in this zone. But yeah, you feel like they're going to maybe come in at all different times and different angles, and that's kind of been the story for BHE, isn't it? Being a bit too split, getting caught out on solos, and not being able to stay as a 4 strong and being able to get as many points as they'd like. Yeah,
100%. Just like to highlight Paul here. Then you mentioned at the start of the game they do desperately need some points if they're looking to qualify into the grand finals. They are in a good spot in this zone. It has shifted favourably towards them, so it'd be nice to see if they can actually pick up a few points in this game.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's definitely a good opportunity for them for now. Obviously, they do still need to get the zone, but they've got themselves in a really nice position holding this church location. You know, especially if, you know, we keep mentioning ranked every now and again, but this is definitely a location that you kind of always enjoy pushing in ranked. There's always a team up here taking a fight on towards whoever it is, getting this location. You can get a lot of kills from here. So yeah, really like this position here from CoR. Obviously, they need to make sure they can try and hold it off, and being 1 man down, always a little bit hairy, because this is the kind of position that people do like to try and push in and crash, especially as a full 4. And we're already having that numbers disadvantage. You need to get an opening knock early, otherwise you could find yourself completely outnumbered.
Yeah, I think church also is such a good location because obviously you can get on the roof of the church, right? You can see a lot of the zone. Pick up some scabs and some possibly much needed points at times as well. I really liked what QP just did there. They had TS14 on the compound, which TDT are actually occupying right now, and he saw them coming towards him. Instead of staying, he just quickly nipped off and regrouped with his team, which really smart from them.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's no point in soloing yourself away from the rest of your team if you've got a chance of being able to stay 4 strong. OMG, though, potentially just driving around and getting a little bit caught out of where their location. And speaking of being split, Doc, very split here from his team up on this hillside. And he's got the whole of Skyline EU pushing in behind him. Nice tags back towards Shane, but does get taken very low. And I think maybe going to opt to just get away from this position, especially with OMG in the low ground. And yeah, now they've lost a vehicle because they've just pulled it up there. Doc going to get found there by Loran, and surely this is going to be Skyline EU trying to get aggressive on towards this one. They're going to go towards the compound, but in a really good position to try and just cause some damage here to TDT, who are already a broken team.
Yeah, kind of a strange pull-up really, and poor track has actually found Manu as well from Church, like we just mentioned. It has got lots of good sight lines from that roof, and he is going to pick up the kill and a much-needed point for Poor. But yeah, strange pull-up on that side. They knew OMG crashed the compound just to the south, but they still opted to pull up there. Yeah, I've unfortunately paid the price for it.
Yeah, I feel like it's just been a bit, you know, bit erratic again from TDT, not being able to kind of have a set game plan, know what they want to do in certain situations, and it is kind of causing them to lose a few members and putting themselves in positions that they really should not want to be in or want to find themselves in at all. So, yeah, unfortunate for them. GTS, though, they're having a full fight here with Milky Way, who have been playing very well so far today and continuing to do damage. Velted, actually, from far going to find Blank, but I think Desert going to be able to come up and confirm this one. Philic bleeding out as well. Iceman down, so it's just going to be one remaining member in Veery for GTS. And once again, it's more woes for them. 1 point so far they've been able to pick up in the first 3 games, and it's looking like it might be another game full of struggles.
Yeah, they're not having the best time of it at all. And MW are a team, like we mentioned actually in the first game today, that do stick very close together. They like to take their fights as a 3, as a 4. They get the trades when they need them. And as you can see, they're going to stay 4 strong here as well because they're going to get the revive. So really well played from Milky Way. And got themselves a nice little spot in the circle for now as well.
Yeah, exactly. Not too bad. The zone, you know, as you said, has popped and it's gone towards Dig in a good position. Poor also going to still continue to be in a decent spot here, and BHE kind of getting a little bit lucky with the Chimacera ground, you know, really nice high ground and sights from that position. So yeah, nice little zone shift for them. You know, a few teams are going to have to rotate though. Aguita already going down in towards the blue. And you know, we kind of highlighted how well Aguita have been doing today, but we also worth pointing out they didn't make it into the upper bracket. They were a lower bracket team. And so all those teams that have had a couple of days of warm-up playing with, you know, half of this lobby, they're not on top. It's Aguita that's come straight in and gone, you know what, we need to prove that we should have been in that upper bracket. We need to prove we deserve a place in the finals. And that's exactly what they're doing and coming out in force, taking first place with a huge margin and still continuing to stay up in this game with a full 4.
Yeah, and I think that's what you want, right? You don't want a team that's going to rest on the laurels. You want to make sure that your team, if you don't have the best round of 32 or open qualifiers, as we called them, you want to make sure that when you do get the opportunity to come into the later parts of the competition, that you really do capitalise on that and prove that you are one of the best teams. Because I've seen this team be top of big leagues in the past, SSLs back in the day. You know what I mean? I've seen them do really well at times, so definitely capable. It's just maybe finding that rhythm, which they're definitely finding tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the point, isn't it? You know, they haven't really had much rhythm recently, but definitely starting to find that a little bit now, as you can see, absolutely dominating. And, you know, they're going to feel pretty happy with this, especially with the other events coming up soon. You know, definitely going to give them some momentum going in towards those ones as they pop up. You know, some very big events on the horizon. But yeah, sort of heading over here, QP still got 4 strong here. Sort of taking some shots at Milky Way. I don't think either team aware that Veery's still lurking down here. And BT actually going to pull up right into the little dip that Veery's trying to hide in. And they're putting themselves right up in towards 2 teams. But one is going to get found. Donny gets found as well. And just like that, QP popping up, finishing off BT. And again, another erratic push coming from them. Donny does manage to get himself a kill though. So that's going to be Milky Way going down. And now potentially Aguita's turn to try and capitalise on some points here.
Yeah, you've also got, they're actually right on top of MW here now. Then they're going to take the shots around the Husky. Finds an opening knock. Good shots from him. Tries on Pepeugi. Both trade. And it's down now, just down to the final MW member. And he's been wiped just like that. Aguita on top today and on top in that fight. They pick up 3 in a matter of seconds. And they've now got to find NE now pushing in just below them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just absolute constant barrage coming through for these teams in this position. NE trying to work their way up. The res is coming, and it's going to be right in the open as well. So if NE get up here quickly, they might be able to spot this. But I think the res just going to come off in time. It does, but potentially the shot's going to come out. Pepeugi gets found. Lizard hasn't had a chance to heal yet, and there we go, gets taken down as well in return. So it's just going to be down to Aguita to see what they can possibly do. Trytoon is going to open up here. Jay going to confirm his knock at least with a grenade. So that's going to be one member of Aguita completely taken out of this game. Trytoon trying to prep that nade, seeing if he can maybe find a member here of NE, and it looks like it could be good, but no, here's his little dip. No, it does find it. Sorry, it's the return smokes coming back. That completely looked very strange on my screen, but yeah, really nice molly there, or nade coming through for Trytoon on towards Bolby, and NE now having to try and recover, but Aguita, unfortunately, already damage being done towards them. They're down to just 2 members, and now have to try and see if they can find something special here to clutch up this fight against NE.
Yeah, Marcos got some really nice tags there, but you've also got QP here coming in the back lines potentially, and Viri as well, so they've got to be really careful here. Trytoon does push forward, takes the 1v1 with Pures, finds a knock. Marcos finds Jay. Trytoon going to try and take some shots down onto Bolby, doesn't connect, and Bolby does find the final member of AG. Viri did find one though.
Yeah, certainly did, and I think there's only, there is 2 members of NE left up. They're going straight for those reses, so Viri going to have to try and get in here nice and quickly. He is going to be able to find the spray there. Does find 1, finds 2. Viri trying to pick up as many points as he possibly can at this late stage. Does manage to find that member of NE, and I think just 1 member left up is Bolby. No chance of any reses coming through here. He's trying to get some extra loot, some extra util maybe on here, but GT got themselves ahead of this, and that's going to be the next challenge for any team or any player that managed to get out of this situation.
Yeah, Viri really taking this game with the scruff of the neck. He's just in blue at the moment though. He's going to try and take a few more tags down onto GT, but he's sitting in blue. I think that might be where his game is up here. There's QP then walking on the top of GT. Wall sheet down and out. 4 versus 3. Then Sean taking shots down onto J-Beacon. Doesn't quite connect what he wants to. But yeah, the fight looks like it's about to break out here.
Yeah, it certainly does. And actually, I think Viri and Bolby are about to find each other as well as they're rotating in the blue. And if either of these players do manage to survive, they might be able to just get themselves in towards placement points. Starting with Bolby's just slightly mistimed that first aid he has, and that's given Viri another point coming through in terms of placement. But this fight between QP and GT continuing to reign out. It's just going to be CodeRed, the remaining member here for QP. Oh my god, it's just taking me right the way across the other side of the zone, and I missed that kill again.
Yeah. He does wipe them up, cleans them up, takes Jamie and Kaneki. Really good place from him. He's actually going to get all the reses as well. He's got time.
He's going to find Pato here, and actually, you know, Viri's still coming in the back lines. I don't know how many he's got no first aids left. I don't know if he's going to quite make it. He's got a little tick of the med might have just done it. No! Oh, literally seconds off, but does manage to get himself that extra placement point coming through in 7th. And yeah, QP still keeping all 4 alive. Huge play there from CodeRed coming through, and that's 6 kills now for QP, and in a top 6 situation as well for them.
Yeah, the zone has shifted then, and it's forced SKEU to move, and they're actually decided to take the fight onto F2S. Good tags down onto Arminius on the pull-up here. Hacker have sent it into the compound, tried to use a bit of bait, see if Skyline or Shane could get a knock, but couldn't quite find the tags they needed. But gonna be a fight here nonetheless, as both teams do need to move. They're not in zone. Beta's a little bit late to the party, but he's now joining in. No knocks as of yet. SKU then gonna try and cross the road, but Gregor's got a lovely position here on the off angle. I don't think they know is there. They have no idea is there. Shots coming down. Good tag. Shane finds... Oh, man, he just spun on him.
No, Shane finds one, Beta finds the other, just before Skyline could get the knock. Hacker does go down though, Anthology being able to find him. Shane in the compound, going to confirm the kills, trying to confirm the knocks. Anthology now, I think the last remaining member here for F2S, very low as well, as he's trying to just duck dive away from all of this util that's coming his way. He's going to have to get himself out of there. Does get some nice tags on towards Beta, but can't quite get the return as Shane there just to confirm that one away. And that's going to be F2S going out. Skyline EU losing only one in that engagement. And
yeah, such a shame there. Gregor had such a lovely angle. He got a few tags, but he didn't quite get the knock that he needed and actually got knocked himself, which, yeah, proved costly nonetheless. Poor then, going to try and find their way into zone. Still 3-man up.
Exactly. I mean, they've got really nice sightlines on towards Skyline EU's position here as they're trying to rotate out of that spot. A couple of tags do land, but nothing really causing any problems. Only the one kill still that we saw them get earlier. Dig, really nice position here in the zone. They've just been farming for the last little bit. 2 kills on there, but they've taken them both off of QP. And that does mean QP are going to be down to just 2 members now. You know, such a good game still from them, though. 6 kills, top 5 at least, and already sitting in 2nd place anyway. So it's just adding to that total, just allowing another team to push up. And as I said, you know, the more teams that really dominate, or a couple of teams that dominate in this lobby, will make it easier for all these other players to be able to, qualify potentially, because that bracket will just be that little bit lower.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely nice to see BHE then 4 strong as well in this circle. They've got a nice little bit of zone. Because I feel like this might shift away from that compound as well, so they could actually be in for the next phase as well. And if that is the case, they might be able to clean up quite a few kills in this lobby.
Yeah, quite possibly. You know, this could be a really good location. BHE, you know, with the high ground as well, going to be able to just pepper shots around everyone in this situation. Poor Marshall is taking them very low as Skyline EU look like they want to try and get aggressive on this. Can't really though. Apollo gets found though, and this is going to be the chance for Skyline EU to get aggressive. Looks like you've already got Shane trying to take that off angle, trying to see if he can confirm that kill. He does, and you know they're already aware that poor, you know, they've been struggling in the event so far, so maybe not being able to find any form, and also only having 3 members up, they're going to be aware that this is a damaged team and definitely going to be the next prey here for Skyline EU. The problem is Skyline EU have got to move in though, so you know it's not going to be a complete easy take for them. But definitely
no, there's not actually much to play here as well. With these teams that do have to move in, they haven't got much hard cover, if at all, any at all really. There's a shack down in the middle of the field, which I think that might be maybe where Poor are going to try and get to if they can.
Yeah, I think they just need to try and send it. I don't mind this play, but the problem is the Morado completely spinning out. I think BHE might get really good shots on this as well. And Cliff finds one, Gazoo finds the other from range, and Poor still struggling in this one. They get 5th, but it's only 3 placement points, 1 kill. It's a 4-point game. As we kind of touched on, you know, you need to be averaging 5 points a game roughly, and they're not on that coming into the first 3 games, and their 4th game isn't much better either. So they need to just go for a reset, come back tomorrow, and hopefully they can have all 4 to try and see if they can push up there. But they're going to need some big games coming out for sure.
Definitely, and there's Dig there. Then they find QP, Carlad on the edge of zone. They've got a really nice zone for Dig here. They've been blessed a little bit, but they're picking up a few kills, which always isn't the case when you do get blessed zone. They have found 3, now 4, so they're going to be happy with that. Well, actually, I think it got robbed away, actually, that kill on Kyle Ladd, but still looking strong, looking like they are favourites to probably win this game, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. Digger in a really good position, but BHE having the high ground, if they get one shift out of that compound, Digger are going to really struggle. Skyline EU, though, do get finished off, and we're down to, you know, 1 member of QP, and then it's a straight 4v4 for the win. I don't really see, I mean, CS14, solid player, but I think he's going to struggle to be able to get too much more in this one. As Dig not going to want to have to leave their compound. They're going to push themselves in. BHE got the hillside here, and I think this shift maybe just completely, you know, exploded the chances of BHE having a chance of coming away with the win here, because with not much compound left to play, you know, even if this centers up, BHE still going to have the ridgeline. Dig not going to have the compound.
Definitely, and if they do have a close this game out with a win, BHE, that will set them up nicely. They did have a really nice game on the second Erangel as well. So yeah, they're looking strong. We did say we thought it would come away from this compound up to the seal side, which it has. So it'd be interesting to see. I reckon we'll probably get 4v4 here. I reckon Sean, or TS14 should I say, might get found out by Dig. We have to see. He could put a spanner in the works though, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, Dig thrown a molly that way, so I think they're fully aware that there is a player lurking around here. But obviously the thing is they can't spend all of their time focusing on this one because they need to keep eyes on what BHE are doing. So, yeah, very good chance that, yeah, he could come up and spoil the party, but they're fully aware that he exists. He's here. And actually, Natter might be able to just get an angle on him here. Although it looks like he's looking more towards the compound, so maybe TS14, if he can wrap round on this cliffside and avoid the sightlines of BHE, might be able to make his way in here, but it's looking unlikely. There we go, the tag's coming through from Natter, so yeah, Natter fully aware that there is a player here. Baltic pushes out, the reload had to come through though, does manage to find one, doesn't manage to get the confirmation there. Veltin able to confirm that. I think the chance for a res is viable. And I'm kind of hoping that BHE don't try and over-push this. They don't need to. I love the fact that they've sent a couple down to this crate because this is hard cover that's now in the zone that they can utilise. They also pick up the 3 gear as well. And it's going to be a Mark 14 as well. Pretty much the gun of dreams when it comes to crates for pretty much most of these players.
Yeah, definitely. Really nice trade there from Velton to be able to get the res on to keep it a 4v4 fight, which is what we like to see in these final circles. We do like to see a well executed 4v4. I'm going to see what the shift does because there is one more circle to be posted here.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly is. And yeah, Dig just trying to see if they can, think of a way to get out of here. But Zen King getting that knock, that is a huge opening start there for them. Larry knows Wizzy's got very close here as well. Zen King. Natter actually with the nade. This could be huge if this lands straight on towards him. That's a big nade. Goes a little bit too far though. Doesn't quite manage to find Wizzy. But yeah,
Wizzy can just hold here. It could be a really good play for his team. He's buying his team some time to maybe get up to him. Like, he's holding a good part of the zone. On the bottom of the ridge, just below BHE. Just needs to stay alive here, Wizzy. He has to stay alive.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly should. And now, yeah, BHE gonna have to try and clutch up with this one, Wizzy. Holding down on this ridge line here. Dig holding down the compound. But they are going to have to leave eventually. And I think that maybe just leaving it a bit too late to do anything. BHE, Zen King once again finding Velton. That's another knock on towards him. Surely that's got to be the confirm. There we go. Zen King finding that one. And now it's a 3v4. BHE looking very strong here. They've been struggling up until this point. But now all of a sudden in a really good position to be able to get huge amounts of points from this game potentially and catapult them up the leaderboard. Natter deploying the smokes just to try and see if he can find a position in towards this one cliff. Trying to destroy the vehicle, making sure they can't get in that to use that to try and get in towards zone. There we go. Zen King, huge headshot there coming through with the mini. Baltic going to be bleeding out. I don't think any chance of a res unless Gazoo can get the smokes down to get across, but not going to be easy. Wizzy goes down and Gazoo, last remaining member here now for Dig. Needs to come up big. Does manage to get some nice tags on towards Zen King, but the shots through the smokes doesn't land anything. But I mean, Gazoo trying to get over here, trying to see if he can possibly find a way out. But 10 seconds left on the zone, and then 10 seconds and it will start moving again. Zen King, he does not want the points denied. He is coming straight in for this one, trying to see what he can possibly find. He jumps over the wall, does manage to find him just before he goes down. One more tick, but does manage to do it. And that's a 7-kill win for BHE and a big 17 points that they desperately needed.
Yeah, Zen King was MVP in that fight, and for me, I think he's been MVP tonight. He's been brilliant for Brotherhood Esports tonight, getting vital knocks when they needed them. Even then, he climbs over the wall in Phase 8 blue just to get the kill. Really impressed with him tonight. Really impressed with BHE as well. And yeah, really good game from them to close out the day.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we can have a very quick look at the leaderboard before that game gets added. It should have the third game on there now. And there we go. We see Aguita being right the way up near towards the top there of that one. As we also, looking further down, Brotherhood Esports, they were right on the cusp in 7th. That's 17 points, 35 points overall is going to put them right up there. Potentially, top 3, top 4 at least. So that's a big game they needed. Dig, though, who also could have done with a big game. They get a few kills, they get 2nd place, but they're still going to be right on the cusp of it, fighting for their chance to get into the finals.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of teams are going to be in that same situation. I mean, we have got one more game day left tomorrow. So hopefully some of them teams who are 3-man today can get their 4th man contingent and really push up that leaderboard tomorrow.
Oh, 100%. You know, it'd be really nice to get, you know, a few more teams in contention for taking that qualification spot, and definitely any of those teams are going to be possible and able to do so. You know, we've seen big games coming out from those teams towards the bottom of the table. Catalyst, I mean, not showing up today, but my God, have they shown up for the rest of the event? And I think if they can get into form and find that form they had again tomorrow, definitely could be another team in contention for getting qualification. But yeah, that's it from us for this evening. Zabu will be back with Droidica tomorrow night to bring you all the action. 4 more games, same time, same place. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching.